emotions, my not desire, what I'm looking for is just my intention. Watch the panel is what piloted the ship. It's almost like it interacted with your consciousness. That's how you pilot it. But that was crazy because I never really had any interactions with them, but only in dreams that are very specific.
That is amazing. Huh. Interesting, BW. Thanks so much for sharing, my new friend. Stick around. It should be an interesting conversation. For those of you down below trying to make space racism a thing, you're not going to make it a thing. It's not a thing.
I'm sorry.
It's not a thing. So no space racism bullshit. Mute up, please. Thank you. For anybody down below that's trying to bring space racism into the conversation, scroll once, go find another live. It's not here. Like not now, not in a million years. So no. With that, my friend, welcome back. Thank God. Your timing is impeccable. How you been?
Wendy, how are you?
Good to see you.
Long time no see.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the actual documentary film, so I'm eager to see it. But listening, and you have been touching on these grays and stuff. So I want to share, I don't know if the documentary touches on grays being actually androids type of beings. It's basically vessels for consciousness to traverse space, and on a remote planet far away, like these AB1, AB2 type of beings or something like that. So I'm not quite certain about this time travel theory. I would not presume you can alter a timeline, because, you have to actually remove yourself from one reality into another, but that leaves a void in that reality is filling up that space. But anyway, so do you have anything specific I should answer, Wendy?
No, actually. You're free to speak whatever truth you want, Dino. It's good to see you back, though, my friend. Good to see you back.
I actually came just to say hi, but I see you're heating up the topic with some grace and stuff like that, so I said, let me just try to chime in.
Yeah, what do you see as far as disclosure, Dino? It's been a hot minute since I talked to you behind the scenes. What are you seeing in the next year or so?
Considering how the things are heating up in the USA, I'm in Europe, so I don't have fresh news, but I see what I see through the lens of the news and social media. But considering the topics which are being discussed there, I think it's quite possible we are going to see a new era quite soon. And I'm a true disclosure day will come. So the only question is at what price and what will be the next gen thing for us? How will we transition from this type of civilization we are to a next one, because the moment you are starting into advanced spirituality, advanced consciousness type of manipulations and inhibiting spacecraft with your core consciousness and sharing consciousness with other people, this is where things, I would presume, change for everybody. So I'm eager to see what happens, but I'm a very big believer that some huge change is imminent for us all.
Yeah, all signs seem to be leading in that direction, Dino. So thank you so much. Okay, for the love of God, I'm going to entertain this one more time, and then we're never going to talk about it again. Hopefully, knock on wood. Space racism is not a thing. It's like Mean Girls and the word fetch. It's not going to happen. Every time people open their mouth, it tells you exactly where they're at in their journey. Space racism, how telling. Where the hell, panel, did this come from? What the actual fuck? Panel, please weigh in.
Are you talking about like?
I think people just don't want to let go of what they're used to.
Are we talking at the same time?
You kind of are, yeah.
Is there a delay or something?
I apologize.
Okay.
Let me be a lady. I apologize, sir.
You can go first. That's fine.
Thank you. You're such a gentleman. Cherie's not there. Cherie's not unalived. So I just feel like people that bring that kind of stuff up don't want to let go of what's supposed to be let go. It's supposed to have been let go a long time ago, because in the future there is not going to be any racism, and people are behind. And there are some people who are they want to make a joke and make mockery out of it, but it's not a subject that will elevate them. When you have hatred, that's nothing but hatred. And you have hatred and you separate yourself from people, you miss out on a lot of things and a lot of good experiences that you possibly could have, just because you want to think whatever you think that will separate you from someone. And then you want to put people in groups and categorize them in a way to where everyone is who is represented by the wrong people. And everybody knows that. Everybody knows this. In media, there are certain cultures that are being represented in such a bad way, and they know that their cultures have the same thing going on within their cultures, but they're not being represented on a high plateau as other cultures. And everybody knows this. And that's why when people want to continue to divulge in racism at this point in time, in the frequency that we are, it doesn't matter what degrees they have, what level statutes they are, it makes them look less than, like a lower vibration, lower frequency, and where we're going.
Then, all right. Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm going to jump up to Z.
It comes from us, and that's where it needs to stop too. We created this hierarchy of different things that are not right. And to take it into what we're discussing from examples like trying to reframe and recreate history as if humans are not impeccable and capable of doing amazing things on their own, which happen to be certain people of certain races from other parts of the world in history. I find that really daunting and upsetting, which is a form of what we're discussing. So please stop doing this and understand that you are not a part of a future that is where these discussions are headed, of equality and balance and acceptance and love. So if you continue to, it just shows that you're the problem.
I would agree. For those who love talking divide, living in divide, how's that working out for you? How's that working out for you so far? How's that worked out for our species so far? How's that made you feel internally, right? How's divide, hate, how's that helped your journey? When was the last time you heard somebody on their deathbed say, God, I wish there had been more hate in the world. I wish there had been more hate in my life, right? How's that worked out for the collective awareness of our species? Yeah, that's really all I have on this. Who else? Dino, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, the racism itself is about the difference in origins and assumed origins, but we all agree we're all one species, we are one entity, but through the means of chemistry and the type of positioning you have in the world, you're going to have a specific type of pigment and all this stuff. So this is a construct of our imagination. But yet in this case, when with aliens, you could argue that this is the only place where this type of like discrimination makes sense. There are others. If you look all the way to the source, or if there is anything like a creation beginning, then you would argue we are all the one same entity, one organism. But what I was trying to say, we cannot avoid, I don't want to be black sheep, but the only thing I am mindful of, and I'm not hating, and hating is bad, I don't recommend it to anybody, but at least be mindful of the differences in ideologies. So you cannot avoid that there are people who are thinking differently than you, and maybe it's direct opposition to your own thinking. So thus, you have to not discriminate, but in a way you have to be aware that, there are people you have to defend your own sovereignty or whatever you want to call it, ideology intact. So this is why we are still fighting these wars of ideology until we are reach the same mindset, same goal, same dream. Until then, there is always going to be discrimination and hatred of some sort. So, but this can also apply to aliens. So I'm going to keep it that. Yeah.
Could not agree with you more, Dino. BW, go ahead.
I guess it's just part of programming. I think conditioning and programming. But at some point, I did want to weigh in also about time, like how
Okay,
they
one
could be.
moment. Yeah, BW, I'm going to have you hold on for just a second while we finish up this last topic. So people are saying things on the side like, well, the world is hateful, so who cares? I should just give up and give into the hate. I disagree. TikTok I've found in the past year, and millions of people at this point have come through this live. We've been really, really lucky. TikTok is like a mini Sims simulation of the real world. It's very telling. It's like a tiny sample of the world as a whole. Look at the rooms that talk about unity. They're huge. They're huge, and they're getting bigger, right? The hate lives, yeah, have fun with the 15 people in your room. People are fed up. They've seen patterns. They don't like the divide. They're ready to awaken. They're ready for unity. And as the collective frequency rises, more people are waking up to the truth about who they are. And so don't give up just because you see some bad stuff around you. I get it. I see that the world can appear hateful, but there's more people awakening every single day, and they want unity just like you guys do. So don't give up. Don't give up. Go inward, and keep in mind that as your internal frequency rises, it has a ripple effect on those around you. So you can actually help change the planet simply by raising your own frequency. All right. With that, anybody else want to weigh in on, for God's sake, space racism or the divide before we move back to BW? Go ahead, Unknown.
Yeah. So the whole idea of just space racism in general is kind of ironic because those people are the ones who are alienating themselves. So yeah, I forget what I'm going with the alienating.
All right, thanks so much, Unknown. All right, BW, back to you, my friend.
I just add that, sorry, BW.
No, you're okay, Lauren. If you want to weigh in on this topic, please go for it.
Yeah, very briefly, because I won't be staying too much longer. I do have, these things and space racism, spacism. These things are always pushed, always. Same as flat Earth. This is just a complete divisive push. It's a bit like. Problem, reaction, solution. This is how it works. So they put things out there, they see the reaction, and this is just crap that's put out there. Space racism is absolutely it winds me up, this stuff. Well, we have got better things to be focusing on, I believe. But yeah, people are getting bored, and they'll blame anything. But at once, one thing it's another. But yeah, space racism, I suspect we'll see a lot of it once the aliens are demons thing's over.
Yeah, well, they can get bored in another room because space racism is not coming into this one. Lauren, speaking of people getting blacked, I understand that you're one of my best friends, but I must block you now for bringing up the flat Earth debate.
I mean, I did say it was a okay. I mean, I won't argue.
All right. Do you want me to drop you down so you don't lose your coins, friend?
Yeah, please. I've got to go do stuff. I've got to jump over the fence and interact with humans.
All right. Enjoy your day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, Lauren. All right. VW, back to you, VW. Go for it.
Got to interact with humans. That's funny. That's how I feel. No, but the whole time thing, because they're saying, that the Greys come from the future and they're us, and it's like now we're bringing in time travel. But I can tell you, I've tried to wrap my head around time travel, and one thing I pictured is like, imagine if you got your DVD, the whole movie's on the DVD. But it's not until you shine a light on it and it becomes holographic. You shine the laser light, and it's you can jump around at any point in your DVD. So I tried to wrap my head around, time travel, and it's like we're in this linear dimension, but at some point in our evolution, maybe we've I don't know. But time travel. I had a Kundalini awakening that was so powerful. I talked with, I don't know if I can say his name, the Strieber, but I talked with him about it because it displaced me in time. I had this powerful Kundalini awakening. My whole body became filled with light. I was holographic. My whole body was glowing a golden white light with these golden sparkles, and everything became a hologram. It's like my frequency got raised suddenly, so closer to that of light that I could see through the molecules. I could see through the house and see everything. And then when I went to work that morning, because that was in the morning on a Wednesday morning, I go into work and it turns out it's Tuesday. And I was totally confused, but I actually had to repeat. I had to do all the same paperwork that I had done the day before. I literally got displaced. So I talked to that author, that Strieber dude, and told him about it. And he says, yeah, I've had that too. My wife and I, and it is very strange. People who have, all of these, it's like almost like a new world that we're moving into. And so I don't know how the whole thing works, but I think I could believe that the Greys, I don't know about any other species, but how they could come from the future. I don't know if I'm making sense.
I mean, there are some people who believe that Greys do come from the future. Yeah. And Whitley Strieber is actually, I'm interested to see what Whitley thinks of the movie because they did depict the Greys. And he's long talked about how the Greys are an empathetic species. We've had Whitley Strieber on this live a couple of times. We've interviewed him, but I've also had the opportunity to talk to him behind the scenes. And I'm very, very, very curious to see what he thinks of the movie. All right, with that, I'd like to say hi to the next guy in line, which was Gypsy. How are you?
Hey there, good morning. How are you guys?
Good to see you. What's up? Please share.
So, on which topic?
Whatever brought you up, my friend. We're not doing any questions right now. Yeah, go for it. Did you see the movie? Let's start there.
Oh, it only works for Androids. We tried the Roku, it wouldn't come in. So I just saw like bits and pieces of it through people who bootlegged it.
I'm going to put the link on the bottom so everybody can watch it. I did it 3 times.
You absolutely have to download a free video player, you guys, in order to see it. And if it spins when it plays, you just go to the top right-hand corner, press on a box, and adjust the resolution. All right, with that, Gypsy, sorry, back to you, my friend.
So I think that it's just the same. I know this sounds crazy, but I think it's what we've been doing for all of history. Something or someone's different. I know there's a lot more differences, but it's the same behavior. It's the same behavior of like back in the old days. If anything or anyone was different, had different belief systems, looked different, worked different, any of that. You know, it was like they were bad, they were evil, they were, you know, well, they're clearly more intelligent, but, you know, there was something wrong. You know, there was something wrong, and I don't think there's anything wrong. I think we're right where we're supposed to be. I think that, you know, I heard somebody say something as far as like, you know, that, well, if you were saying like, if people are hating, like, why should I change? Because we are changing the fucking world. Like, literally, we are changing the world. The collective is growing. More people are gathering awareness. They're questioning like themselves, like what is this place? What's really going on? And with that, I can land.
All right. Thanks so much, Gypsy. Welcome back, my friend. All right. Source, you wanted to in, and then I'll say hi to Pop Dog. Go for it, Source.
No, go ahead. Just pass over me because I'm in a thought right now.
Oh, okay. Of course. Pop Dog,
Sorry.
hi.
Good morning.
Good to see you. You're in the UK, yeah?
Yeah, Manchester. If I can give you a pinpoint, literally just by the airport.
Oh, okay. All right. Good deal. Have you seen the movie?
I'm glad. Yeah, I did see the movie. And without giving spoilers away, it was, I mean, there was some questionable bits, which there's always going to be. But essentially, that movie connects so much. I mean, it's so poignant, that movie. What I wanted to touch on, Wend, you mentioned, or somebody mentioned, asked if I lived on ley lines. And I've done a bit of study today, and I'm on two main ley lines, and the nearest one being Kinder Falls in Glossop. Now, where it gets weird is Kinder Falls is just by a field study centre I visited when I was a child, and I stayed there for a week. And I went to Kinder Falls, and I went to Jacob's Ladder and these different places. But yeah, that's my discovery today. I'll end there.
All right. This does not surprise me at all. You are one of my favorite experiencers ever. I knew that you either had to have had a near-death experience, lived on lead lines, had an abduction, had autism, or had some clairvoyance history. So it does not surprise me at all. I want to say, hey, to Phoenix Rising in the house. Welcome, my friend. Love you so much. All right. Where are we going with this conversation, guys? Where do you want to go? What do you want to talk about? No spoilers on Disclosure Day. Michelle, you're up.
Yes. Okay. So for entertainment purposes only, I heard that that they're all actually, instead of calling them aliens, we should call them scientists, because they are all actually scientists, and the Greys are contracted by other species to do the presentations, and they are contracted because the Greys at one point did not display the empathy, but I think going on throughout the timeline, they started to develop empathy and knew that the timeline was going to come, and also it was to save them as well. That's just for entertainment purposes.
You bet. Thanks so much, Michelle. BW, I agree with you. He does call them the visitors. Whitley Strieber said they don't even like to be called some of those more mainstream things that we call them, and so he does call them the visitors. I think it's quite fitting. All right, who's next? BW, go ahead.
I'd like to talk about going from that Kundalini awakening. Ever since then, the world does feel more 5D. The only way I can explain what I mean is like synchronicities and, like cause and effect are everything is instant, almost like in the 3D, it takes time sometimes for cause and effect for things to, you send something out, it ripples back to you. But in the 5D, it's more liquid. It's like this 3D is almost like crystallized solid forms, whereas in 5D, it's like everything is much more fluid. So as you think, like in your mind, you get instant manifestation. And that's the space ever since that time. That's kind of like how life has been. Not 100%, but pretty close. Anybody else?
I've actually experienced the same thing that you have, but due to my lifestyle, it may have been slightly different. To me, it felt because now it's just now subsiding, where I can feel like I can take an exhale and get back to my normalcy in life, because I felt like I went through some kind of training. But I know that I have been appointed a business that I'm going to, it's an innovative business that's going to include the therapies physically and mentally, emotionally, all at one time. And also have the client, the patient, feel validation about everything that they've been going through, because we're not the only ones that's going through things. And some people are afraid to speak on it, and because they're labeled as crazy, and they need to know that they're really not crazy. That's just their own experience, but they have to grab a hold of whatever they're going through, and they have to stick up for themselves. That's what I had to do. So there's a lot of people that get overwhelmed, and they do things to where they're not here to go through it anymore. And that is a mistake. That's like you're quitting your job, because it's not like you were fired. You quit your job when you're not going through what you have to go through. The thing is, anyone that's listening and they're going through what I have went through, and you can tell what I'm talking about and and the way I'm saying it. If you're going through it, you have to stick up for yourself. You have to say who you are, what you are. You got to go through your shame. You have to go through the guilt. You have to go through it. You have to purge all the things that you've been through. And then you have to stick up for yourself, because they will put lies on you as well. And you have to say no. And then you don't do it holier than thou, because how can you be holier than thou and touch the world? So for all you religious people, because the religious people have been lied to on how it's sad that they've been lied to on how they approach themselves to become gods and goddesses. We are supposed to come to the point in the frequency where we are the like image of God itself. So,
All right.
yeah, it's a lot.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. With that, I just want to throw out a couple of disclaimers. If in this moment you are a Christian, you are exactly where you are supposed to be, in my opinion. If in this moment you understand that your conscious awareness having a human experience, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that we're all in this moment exactly where we're supposed to be on our journey. And so welcome to everyone in the room, regardless of what your affiliation is. With that being said, is there anybody on the panel that simply thinks, because y'all love to talk about 3D to 5D, is there anybody else on the panel that would agree that 5D is simply a state of being? Astro, thoughts?
Quantum physics.
Well, every time I go to sleep, I go 5D. Yeah, I'm just saying, guys, right?
Yeah, agree. Yes. Gypsy, what are your thoughts on this?
But every time you sleep, you're 5D, guys. Hey, that's amazing. All right, so let's wake up a little, okay? Now, I'm just gonna bring this in real quick. I sent you something, Wendy, but we'll talk about it deeper tomorrow, because there's a connection, right? And the connection to what Strieber was talking about, empathy and all that, because when we talk about Andromeda, or what I was sending to you about Zeta Rectilia, right? That's a connection to the southern constellations, where the aliens were found in Peru. And Chile.
Interesting.
Brazil.
Yes, I'll take it. Take it.
You see what I'm telling you here?
I
And
do.
the movie talks about it. So read up on that. All right, there you go.
You bet. Thanks so much, Astro. All right, Gypsy, what are your thoughts on all this?
I definitely think that 5D is the state of being. I used to think that it was going to be like everybody was going to level up together at some point, but and I believe that may still happen, but I think that it's a state of mind, it's a state of being. It's where are you at? Are you being in the present moment? Are you living your truth? Like for me, one of the best things that's happened to me is I know what my truth is now. And even if I have to make some scary leaps, like I'm willing to do so to keep my peace and to be the best I can be. And that might not always be perfect, but it's better than it was before. And if I just keep moving forward, I think that as long as you're living in your own truth within yourself, facing all of the stuff that you have been through, working through it, and looking at what is your truth? What does truth mean to you? And trying to live in that truth honestly, earnestly. I think that is 5D. Realizing that we are connected to everything, and that means other beings as well. With quantum entanglement, we are absolutely connected to the universe. We're connected to every living thing on this planet, in the cosmos. We're all entangled. So I look at them as our ancestors. I really do. And I think that if you just try to be kind, first to yourself, and then that light shines on others, that is the state of being I want to be in. And if that's not what 5D is, I don't know what it is.
All right.
May I real quick?
Of course.
So so 3D represents the objective world, right? The object, Well, the 4D is the bridge, right? How come nobody speaks about 4D, right? This was actually brought up in Einstein's time of relativity. Time is 4D, not the time of the hours, minutes, and seconds. I'm talking about the time that creates reality through pattern recognition, consciousness. The 5D is a subconscious. You guys know that, right? So when we're not conscious, you're in a subconscious level. The 4D is the bridge between 3 and 5. I'm just saying.
The spirit.
The 5D is trending, Astro. It's trending.
Because I guess it gives armor.
All right, Source, you're up.
I guess I can do it best in my interpretive dance. Let me show you. Electromagnetism, right? Electromagnetism can affect your brain. So your thoughts, what you are and stuff like that can be affected by gravity. All right. Now, with that being said, when we kind of break this stuff down, I talked about earlier about space in between the atoms and things like that, you start to see how electromagnetism can affect these forces. You can actually have electromagnetism pass through your head, and you literally forget your thoughts. You can actually change your thoughts. I think that's kind of important to think about when you think about other alien beings coming here, right? Whereas their brain could either think faster or slower in this type of environment. I know it's a hard stretch, but it's true. It's connected to electromagnetism in one way or another. So if what you are can be affected by gravity, I wonder, how, if there's something else touching that, if there's another thread that runs through it besides just gravity, right? Is there another sense that we have, that gives us intuition and makes us have that spidey sense?
Yes. It's when we talk about the 4D, right? that's a connection, right? It's space and time, right? So we know that gravity creates time. We know that if you're on top of a mountain, there's a microsecond of, you can measure, this is measured actually, of a second that is less if you were on surface level, sea level. There's a second of difference. It really is, because gravity creates time. There's less gravity up in the mountains.
Well, okay.
But listen, but hold on. Therefore, that awareness through the 4D that we're talking about, the ethers, the gravity, the existence of time, that we are the time, you're able to bridge between the objective reality into a subconscious reality through your conscious awareness, right? Einstein spoke about this.
Oh yeah, Astro in the house. All right, I just want to remind the current panelists, please stay muted unless you have the floor. You do have a 2-minute limit per share just to keep the, excuse me, I can't even talk, to keep the conversation fluid. With that, BW, what you got? I saw your hand up, my friend. BW, you weighing in? Once, twice. There we go.
Sorry, I was pressing wrong buttons. Yeah, I didn't know was 5D like a naughty word in here.
No, not at all. Not at all. Everybody, we have a very diversified panel and we like it that way. So go ahead with 5D.
No, I was only using that for reference. That's because it was the easiest way conceptually. But what I was referring to is that my dream life and my waking life, there's like an obvious dividing line between the two, but for me they're merging. It's like the dream world is showing up in my real world in real time, like faster and faster. When I was a kid, it would take years, like recurring dreams, it would take years before it would show up in the outer world. But now it's like I have a dream and then I wake up and I'm going about my day and stuff and it shows up. So that's what I mean. It's almost like that division. And sometimes I don't even have breaks in consciousness. Like when I go to sleep and go into dreams, I'm conscious the whole time. And when I come to wake, I'm going straight from the dream straight to awake. The dream is still going through my head. So there's no break in consciousness. So this has just been my experience. I feel like I'm trying to just stay grounded and just allow, life to happen and then take it as it comes. That's about it.
Yes, right on, right on. All right, thanks so much, VW. Let's say hi to our friend Volanto. Welcome back. How are you?
Hey, everyone. I'm good, thank you. Just waking up. I'm from the UK, so a bit lazy.
UK in the house. Yeah, what would you like to share?
Yeah, I mean, just listening to the panel in regards to the different dimensions. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not clear with a lot of the details of that. So it's really interesting to learn and listen to other people. In regards to how I'm feeling currently in terms of this awareness, just an experience yesterday. I was in an Uber getting a ride home, and I'm just finding that the openness of people now is, I don't know, because of the state of the affairs of the world we're currently living in. I think there is this openness to a lot of people. They're all expressing their opinion. He was actually a Muslim, and we had a very good conversation, and we found a lot of similar opinions with the state of the world, but not in terms of a religious basis, but just in terms of a loving basis, which was really interesting. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that more and more people these days, for me, are connecting with me, and I'm really enjoying that at the moment, and it's given me an opportunity to express some of my beliefs, even if it's crazy to them, but they're really interested in what I've got to say. So yeah, that's it for now.
Thanks so much for sharing, Volanto. Pleasure having you here, my friend. All right, somebody was next. It's Wisdom Eye and then Source. Go ahead, Dino.
Yeah, I came in to greet an old friend, but I think I overstayed. So I'm going to share my last thought, and then I'm moving, so I give a chance to somebody else to speak and share the truth. Is it okay with you? Yeah. So what I was thinking about is that, I think these ETs, they're lost the same as we are, in terms of maybe they have been thinking more, they have experience, they have means to experience more this depth of reality and different kinds of realities and stuff and so forth. But still, I have this philosophy, whatever is the source or what we call the God is not manifested in any polarity, because if it has bias of seeking some other thing, then it should not be called God, because it's just one of the two. So in that regard, I think all creation is constantly seeking rest, which they're eternally not finding. I mean, finding, and then they're coming back to relive it again. So I think all of these ETs which are embodied, they're also like us, similarly seeking truth, seeking God, but you cannot find God in embodied things. You can find it in everything, of course, but not as a pure embodied entity, I would say, in a way. This is how I see it, anyway, that's my opinion. So I would say that if these creatures or aliens are so far advanced, I don't think they have any need for any kind of bad agenda towards us, because what's the whole point of them, doing anything to us if they can have everything? If they have such advanced, technology to manifest whatever they want, to create biology, organics, you name it. So my assumption is that there are some kind of entities which are not so far out from us in terms of technological unfoldment, in, let's say, maybe 100, 200, 500 years away from us. And somehow these guys got the technology to traverse space. So this is what I would be worried maybe about, what their agenda is. But on the highest of the highest levels, I would presume there is some kind of society or some kind of community which is maintaining some sort of balance in the universe. So I don't know, it's something fun, but that was my 2 cents on what I think is going on here. And that I don't think there are no bad aliens, but if they are bad, they're probably not so far out from us in terms of mental and technological involvement. So yeah, and thanks, Wendy, for having me up. You can drop me whenever you want. So
yeah, Dino, it was good to see you again. Don't make yourself a stranger. We'll see you soon. All right, Source, my friend, you are up.
Right. So I think that just so this is just theory for entertainment purposes, but if you kind of think about it. Right, our idea, our thought process, right, has been thinking about what if aliens for a long time, right? And if what if aliens is true, then we would see these things. And if you notice, right, they're starting to become a reality, right? And the more they become reality, the more we see it, right? So I guess my question behind that is, because I'm sure 100% not sure about this one yet, because I can't 100% prove that we create consciousness, or does consciousness create our reality, right? So if you notice, our reality is changing, right? And so is our consciousness. Our collective consciousness is changing, and we're changing reality. It's just kind of a little food for thought, and one of those ones to kind of think about in the back of your mind and make your brain smile every now and then, for me at least. I'm getting ready to get out of here. I love each and every one of you immensely, and it's free. You don't have to give anything back, and you'll always have it because we're all connected. So, and in your heart, know that I'm always connected to your heart in one way or another. And Wendy, I wanted to tell you this. I didn't know if you saw it in the live, but this is our 1 year anniversary.
It is? Well,
yes, ma'am, it is. 1 year ago today. Yes, it is. It is. Well, 1 year ago today, I walked into this live for the very first time.
Oh, I love it. All right.
Right?
Great.
Right.
Well, happy anniversary, Dal. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Who's next before Unknown starts throwing out some questions? Anybody? Astro. My current hubby. Robin's gonna be so mad. All right, Unknown. Go ahead.
Let's do the questions.
All right, Unknown, are you ready? You've got some questions for the panel.
I do. I'm ready. My first question that I wanted to ask is what question
Ask, what do you want? Honestly, because that's the kind of person I am. It's like if they come to me, I'd ask them, what do you want?
Interesting. All right, BW, thanks so much. Who else? If you're on the panel, please have an opinion.
I would ask them if they were proud of me.
Oh, sorry. But
If they were proud of me because of the stuff the journey that I've been through. I know that most people haven't experienced it. And I was told that I was good at what I do. And I wanted to know if all of them think that way, or if it was just a certain individuals. That's what I would ask them.
All right, thanks so much, Michelle. Gypsy, what's your question?
My question would be, that's so hard. I have a million questions. Probably I would ask about my lineage in reference to them, like what this experience was for in reference to our connection, and what exactly is that connection? How far apart are we? I think those would be, I'd have a couple questions, I guess, but it would be basically on my ancestry.
Mm-hmm. All right, interesting. Thanks so much, Gypsy. Astro, I'm going to have you drop and come back because your I'm jealous now comment is looping because you're having Wi-Fi issues. So drop and come back. Volanto, you asking the ETs anything, friend?
Yeah, I'll probably say, what is the most valuable resource in the universe to them, and how it affects them. And I'm hoping that they'd reply to say that love is quite a rare thing in the universe. That's something that I do feel. I mean, I know the universe is massive, but I think our love could be one of the rarest things in the universe. So hopefully that's what they're studying, something like that. That'd be really just like, well,
I'll take it, Volanto. I would hope that I would ask a humanity assisting question, but I'll be honest, my first knee-jerk reaction when Unknown asked the question, what would we ask an ET if it rang our doorbell? I honestly think it would be, if I bring snacks, will y'all bring me with you? I truly, truly think that is my knee-jerk question. What about you, Unknown?
Yeah, I would love to have them bring me with them. um, sorry, you cracked me up a bit.
No, I'm being serious. Who the hell would not take the opportunity? I know that I would. Yeah. I would also have follow-up questions regarding collective consciousness, what we can do to speed this up regarding collective awareness and things like telepathy or unity worldwide. But my knee-jerk reaction is, hey, can I just come, even just for a couple months? I'll bring snacks, I'll bring drinks, let's go. Unknown, back to you.
Yeah, I would definitely want to ask that question. I was thinking of two other questions I had. And one of them would be, how many other intelligent species are you aware of? And I'm also curious on how many humans have been abducted?
Interesting question regarding the abductions. Okay. All right. Anybody else want to weigh in before Unknown asks his next question? All right. If I have any regular panelists or moderators down below, I would love for you to join the panel just to maintain decorum. Unknown, do you want to go ahead with your next question?
Okay. So next one is, what would you do if an alien craft landed near you?
All right, panel, what do you think?
I would knock on the door.
Oh, well, that's funny. Well, I actually had an experience when and just show it that I know that it loves me. I know that they love me, and my soul loves them too. And I know that I was not doing what I'm doing now, but I wasn't supposed to be. I was in the right timeline. They just wanted to see where I was and what I was thinking, because they said God loves when you come to God with a broken heart, because then that's when God knows for sure that you love him. The gods know that you love them or that you're serious. Because I had asked for the truth instead of playing the game.
Right, beautiful answer. Thanks so much, Michelle. If you do not have the floor, go ahead and hit the mute button, please. We can't have over talking or feedback, so Pooh, I'm going to go ahead and mute you up, my friends. All right, who else wants to answer the question? Gideon, did you get it? Did you hear Unknown's question?
It literally cut me off.
Okay, Unknown, can you repeat the question for new panelists? Thanks so much.
Sure. Question was, what would you do if an alien craft landed near you?
All right, let's see what BW has to say, and then I'll jump back to you, Gideon. Go for it, BW.
They didn't land beside me. And this actually happened. They were above the house, but I didn't know. All I know is I was in a suburban house with a group of people. There was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us, including me. And the evening was going well, but then at some point there was a strange shift in the energy, and it felt like we were under a trance. And then one of the people there started telling some kind of a strange story about the legend of the white buffalo, and directed like a threat towards me. And the whole thing was strange. Next morning, nobody remembered it except for me. And then some Jehovah's Witnesses showed up at the door and said, we saw a huge UFO hovering above this house last night, and we wanted to come and talk to you. We think that Jehovah has chosen you, and we're supposed to talk to you. So my reaction was fear. I was afraid. I didn't know what to make of it. I was all alone because nobody remembered. So my reaction was fear, and it took time for me to understand what the story was for and about, because it unfolded. It's like they gave information that was going to take time to unfold for me to understand. But my reaction was fear.
All right. Thanks so much, BW. Gideon, what you got on this one?
So for me, being me, I would honestly go to the craft because I'm always curious to go up to the stars, always have been, hence the name Stargazer. But just comment quickly on BW. The white buffalo is a great medicine sign in Lakota lore because I study Native American legends. So that's a great sign. And I mean, I'll say this, it's going to sound weird, but I have a special mark that I've had since I was little. So that's how I know I'm from the sky. But it's a little weird to say it, but yeah. So I would run up to the craft because, like I said, I want to go up to the stars. So.
I've had experiences with this, and one person actually claims to have touched one and had like radiation effects from that, like it made them kind of ill. So yeah, I think at first I'd probably be pretty fearful just knowing some of them, but then as long as I feel they're friendly, I would want to say hi and ask if I could go for a ride. Please take me.
Absolutely. I agree about the nervous system because as soon as he said, what would you do if a ship landed in front of me? I'm like, well, first, after my nervous system stopped having a nervous breakdown, right? Because depending on the species and their frequency, the nervous system absolutely will do the oh shit shuffle, right? But after that, I'd absolutely invite it in with love and empathy. Yeah, acceptance. So, all right, Pop Dog, what you got on this one?
Yeah, so I've not seen one land. I would love to see one land. I'm so waiting for that day. But one has sort of got slowly passed over my old flat. It was a giant, kind of the typical disc shape, and it had circles underneath in it all the way round about. God, I don't know how many circles there were, but these were like these energy things that I presumed were sort of keeping this in the air. But it also had cloaking technology as well. It had like a mirror effect to the sky and its surroundings. But awesome to watch, and even more so once I got the image sorted, it does become clear. But again, you know, not everybody sees that. It's depending on how awake.
I'll take it, Pop Dog. I'll take it. Thank you. Pooh, welcome to the panel. How are you? Are you with us, Pooh? You are on mute. Hi, Pooh. Once, twice. No sale. All right. Did anybody else not have a chance to weigh in on the last question?
I think that I know I jumped in and said I'd knock on the door,
Yeah,
but honestly,
yeah.
I think I would take a deep breath and I would feel out the energy. And if all was well, you know, because there is, you know, if this is like just a fun question or if this is like a literal question, like, because there is like all that radiation and things to think about. I was thinking about that when Kara said that and I was like, get out of my head. But no, like if it was a safe situation, I would definitely want to like go for a ride and have a telepathic conversation and feel like the energy, share energy with the being inside. I think that is truly what I would want to do. Like wholeheartedly. I wouldn't run. If all felt well and it was safe, I would just want to get in. I think it would be amazing. And I think so many questions would be answered just by that first engagement and how it resonated.
Yeah.
I think that would be so telling. So yeah, that's my real answer.
You bet. All right. Thanks so much, Gypsy. Unknown. Hold on just a second here. I want to say hi to Phoenix as well. But if you are throwing shit in the chat, go ahead and scroll out, right? If you can't respect your neighbor, another pixel on the screen, if you cannot handle the fact that another human is using words, step out and emotionally regulate. If you can't be loyal to your own species in a TikTok live chat today, then most likely unity isn't something in your near future. So please step out if you need to emotionally regulate. Be kind to my panelists. Be kind to each other. Moderators, go ahead and do your thing if you must. Every time that you type something out and hit the send button, that is a choice. Choose wisely. With that, Phoenix, my friend, hi, welcome back. How are you?
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be up here.
Know if it's good or not. But what I would really love to do is to share some musical, just some vibes with whatever the entity is. You know, it would be great to just play a nice piece of music, you know, and see if they can connect with that. That would be really cool.
You're going to go out Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, or is it Third Kind? That was really off key, but which movie was that, y'all? Close Encounters of which kind? Third. All right. I like your answer, Valento. All right, Z-Voices. What would you ask an if you had one question to ask, and what would you do if a ship landed right in front of you, like 5 feet away? What you got?
Ooh, I like these kind of questions. I would first ask, hey, is it cool to ask you a question? Or do you need a nap first? I'd want to know if if like, what's the interest in coming here? Like, what is the main reason, really? And just leave it at that. Like, no wrong answers. If a ship did land, though, man, I mean, depending on, I guess, how it looked and stuff, I'd probably question and just be like, okay, am I awake? Like pinching yourself kind of thing, and then make sure that I'm not having a break mentally. But then after that, yeah, I'd probably just wait to see what happens at a safe distance, whatever safe could be, because who knows. But yeah, I'd be fascinated for sure, and I'd want to know, like, who is this? Hello.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks so much, Z. Anybody else have anything to add? And I'm so sorry, Volanto. I didn't mean to skip you.
There was just one more thing. Couple I've seen, that there's always been something in the back of my mind is, you know, have we made that? So that because when I've seen these things, I've never really got a feeling from the ships. I've always got my feelings from when I've gone out and, you know, I've channeled and used the light. I've never got a feeling from the ships at all. So the question's always been, who is that really?
Interesting. Pop Dog, do you live near a military base by chance?
Well, the airport here used to be used for the Second World War. And there's rumoured things underneath there, but I don't know.
Interesting.
There is an army base up near Wales, I think.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Thank you for that. All right. Unknown. Or Michelle, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michelle.
I just wanted to add to my story. Hopefully can answer some questions somebody may have. When the ship landed in front of me, it was telepathically talking to me. And after I had answered the question, I was telepathically speaking with the ship, with whoever was on the ship. After they seen my reaction, it disappeared. It just like that disappeared. And then I felt this huge energy, like energy, light force. And it asked me, it said, okay, so what you want to do? You want to still keep doing things this way, or you want to do things different? And then I asked, and I had said again, I said, I want to do things different. Because I wanted to change my life for the better, because I just had a newborn baby. And I had just lost everything because of legal reasons due to her father that I had taken myself out of, but still decided to have a child with this person. And I was losing everything, so I was going to go to Denver. And that was the decision I had to make, because I wanted to just do better for myself, but more so for my daughter. And after that, I made that decision. And it was like in my mind, I can see like white picket fences and cotton candy clouds, and, you know, just everything's so beautiful and stuff. But when I actually went to Denver, it was the exact opposite. And that was my awakening. So I had to go through all of these things like shame and guilt and things that the lifestyle I was living, I had to purge it. And it took me 5 years to do so. But when the ship came, you don't feel fear. They control everything. They only come, I think they only approach who they select to approach, because I had no fear as far as it being there. It was like I already knew them. My soul already knew them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks so much for weighing in, Michelle. That actually tracks. There's a high-ranking military official turned whistleblower named Jake Barber, who used to be on oh my gosh, crash retrieval teams, UAP crash retrieval teams. And he said that he too spoke telepathically with ETs before he even got to the crash site. Now, regarding whether or not there's a visceral reaction to some species, there is. A lot of people have nervous system override depending on the species. And being that we do have billions of species out there, most likely, and the US government alone will admit to 69 separate species, I would say it depends on the species, how close they are, and whether or not they're in a craft as to whether or not there'll be a visceral reaction. But your story tracks as far as the telepathy. We've had so many people on this panel talk about telepathic communication with UAPs, both in the sky and when they come upon ETs face to face. So thank you so much for sharing, Michelle. I appreciate you. And I'm going to hand it back to Unknown. I think that you have another question, yeah?
Yeah, well, I answer my own question and then I'll ask the next one. So
Yeah, go for it.
if aliens landed in front of me, I would tell them you can't park there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm with everyone else, basically. I would ask for a ride. I would ask if I can ask some questions, stuff like that. But my next question that I have is, who should represent and speak on Earth's behalf to ETs?
All right, panel, do your thing, one at a time.
I think that the people that need to represent are the people that are already chosen, because they have already been prepped since childhood, and they are a representation of each, whatever their lifestyle was, they represent that. So it's many people that that are representing different sectors, and it's the least that you would expect.
Interesting. All right. Thank you, Michelle. There's some whistleblowers that say that up to 80% of the American population could have been abducted at one time or another. And there's millions of people around the world who have had contact. So if we're just choosing one, y'all, what are your thoughts? Who's going to represent our species? Who else wants to answer? Thank you, Michelle.
I will.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, BW.
I agree with Michelle that I think that the ones that they want to represent are the ones they've been interacting with already among the common people. They want to bypass government to a certain extent. That's how I feel about it.
All right. BW says the contactees. All right, Carol, you're up.
Yeah, I would want them to choose somebody with a light heart and an empathetic soul, because I think that the rest of them have an agenda. And I feel like I would like unity out of that whole entire thing to happen, right? So if disclosure happens, if we get a mass awakening on that topic, I would want it to be a loving and unifying experience, right? And I know that's probably not going to happen for everybody, but for the majority of us, that's what I would like. And I would like them to pick people like that. And I think, as far as from what Michelle was just saying, that's probably already what they're doing. I think that they can sense your love light from a long ways away. And so they do pick. I wouldn't call them necessarily chosen. I think we're all capable of that, right? But they probably pick and choose for the same reason. They don't want anybody with an agenda, and they kind of want people with an open mind and heart.
I would agree, Carol. Thanks so much. Yeah, we don't do chosen ones in here or spiritual hierarchy. Yuck. All right, who else? Anybody? Pop Dog.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I think as a collective, I don't think any one person needs to do that. I don't think anyone's qualified enough to actually just stand alone and do that. It's got to be a collective thing, and this is what it's all about. This is why everyone's waking up. The more they wake, the more activity.
Yes, as that collective frequency rises and has a ripple effect amongst our species, we have open and repeated contact. There is no separation between any of it. It's all connected. It's a perfect circle. I agree with you, Pop Dog. All right, who else wants to weigh in on this one? Gypsy.
I agree with Pop. I think that, there should be like like a meeting or, we're all connected consciously. So I think there should be like a collective group that would get together, somehow. And from there, we could decide how to handle it together, like, and who could be the a group, and all have some feedback on how exactly it would be expressed. And I'm with Carol on, empathy and open-mindedness and love and embracing it instead of fearing it, So I think that it would be a collective movement, not just, I hate that chosen word. Just, I think it should be that way. I think that it should come from the best part of what's inside of us. And we should follow that. And I think together we would make the right decisions if our heart was in the right place.
Heck yeah. All right. Thanks so much, Gypsy. Z, you wanted to weigh in as well. And just to let the panel know, I'm going to go ahead and rotate here shortly and get my regular panelists up here and allow new people the opportunity to speak. So if you have contributed tonight, thank you so much. If you do get dropped down, please don't take it personally. If you have more to share, go ahead and request a panel again. It will save your place in line. With that, Z, my friends, you're up.
Best representative for humanity. Man, I do agree that it can't just be one person. That could turn into a big ego trip because humans are flawed.
No shit.
But I also wonder too, and I mean, I guess my answer would be like, yeah, it'd be a council, but I also have an additional thought of, could humans also, I mean, all of us be represented by our works and the things that we've done that they could see and perceive as what represents us? You know what I mean? Like our buildings, our cities, our art, our cultures, that we all look different. So if that's the case, I think it would take a council of people that are from all over the globe that can kind of give those inferred references so that they can see this like biodiversity that exists. And that's just my opinion.
Beautiful, Z. That resonates with me as well. All right. Who else is weighing in? No, you guys don't need to drop. I'll do it periodically. 1 second, Michelle. BW, to answer your question, no, you're fine, my friend. I'll rotate periodically. All right, Michelle, you're up.
So this was just downloaded to me. We all live in real time right now. Every single thing that we do it matters and it counts. And just us all being on these platforms, and for you to have created this platform, you are actually working in your mission with being a representative, and everybody that comes onto your platform are also working. So we are all a part of a collective whole, and we're all speaking the things that we're saying to thousands of people, hundreds of people. And I love the fact that she said she's going to give other people opportunities, because that just answered a question. We all are, and but there are some people that experience different things. I believe we all experience different things in life, and that's why it's called our testimony. And his story, history is his story, our story. And that's how we all can connect with each other, is to make each other aware that if there's somebody who can't agree with what you're saying, it's because maybe they're on a different phase or they are a different level, and they get on here and they hear us, and it raises their vibration, raises them up. All they have to do is believe, and then believe in themselves, because of whatever they've been through. Even if they haven't been through anything, them being here on your panel is a sign. It's them being guided here. So I believe that we all are important. We all are doing our jobs at this time. And I feel like just you having you creating this page, this platform, you are doing a monumental thing for the collective whole. Thank you.
Oh, that's very kind, Michelle. Thank you so much. So just a secret between me, you, and 545 other people. It's not really about disclosure, right? ETs are my jam, but they're not my main jam. So we bring them in with the shiny objects, right? Because ETs are exciting, and we've been suppressed from the information for much, much too long. But the real jam here is allowing people when they leave the room to start questioning their own existence. Why? Because in doing so, it may spark a remembrance and who they are as conscious awareness, having a human experience. And so we're honored and pleased to have you here tonight, Michelle. Welcome, my new friend. All right, anybody else want to weigh in?
Me.
Go for it, Gideon.
So I will speak from the Palladian view because I am a Palladian from the stars, as Native Legends have talked about. So I will just speak from that. I can't say to speak from other things, even though I believe that many lifetimes I've been other stuff, but in this lifetime, I'm Palladian. So I will say that we love you. You're perfect the way you are, even though you don't think you are. And trust me, I've been through this experience because I'm literally, like I said, I'm born from the stars. So I was right here with you guys. So we just want you to grow in love and light. I know it sounds corny, but that's just the Palladian view. And we just want you to realize, in spite of everything that's happened in your past or what is perceived past time in the future, you just keep going through. And to use an analogy, it's like a great fire. You can't just build up a fire with only one stick of wood. You need many sticks of wood. You need stokers for the wood. So everyone has their roles, like Michelle was saying. I have my role. Everyone has their roles. And it's just wake up to your origins, go within yourself. And the same thing, if someone isn't on your frequency, they're just on a different path, but there's many paths in the forest. And the Pleiadians don't mean you any harm. There are others that unfortunately do. That's just what our view is, but you don't have to worry about that. And you don't have to worry about anything that unless you don't bite it in. So that's where I'm going to land my ship.
All right. Thanks so much, Gideon. I appreciate you. And who else wants to weigh in?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of the panelists to say that a place of vulnerability would be nice, loving, innocence. But thinking of, and maybe this is just a UK bias, but they'd probably get someone like David Attenborough to try it because, I mean, the guy's a legend. He's lived his whole life looking after animals. He's seen the world change. I mean, I like to believe that he's got a nice heart. He definitely comes across like he's a loving person. So just saying, if they were to elect someone in Britain, definitely would be someone like David Attenborough. And I'd enjoy watching that on the BBC.
Ooh, interesting choice. I'll take it. All right, thanks, Volanto. Anybody else?
Dr. Gray.
You would as well. There's too many Brits in the room. All my friends are Brits these days. What you got, Pop Dog?
Dr. Gray. I think he'd be a good candidate. The whole CE5, you know, he's studied this. He knows how to approach it. He knows both sides, so I think he'd be a good. If there was going to be one spokesperson for us, I think someone like that would be ideal.
Well, I mean, he has been briefing world governments since 1998 on the UAP phenomenon. He introduce CE5 to the world and open and repeated contact. So not a bad choice. You guys know how I feel about Stephen Greer, so I'm always going to support that. All right. While Unknown is getting the next question into place, I'm getting some side questions regarding some stats that we gave out last night. And so I'm going to run through those really fast. Regarding near-death experiences, of a poll of 1,226 people who had verified near-death experiences, meaning their heart stopped and they were resuscitated. Of those that I interviewed, 71.25% come back with an extrasensory ability that they did not have prior. The 516 people on the panel who have had ET contact that they deem resulted in either an abduction or missing time because they saw UAP in the sky and ended up with missing time. 71.50% of them come back with an extrasensory ability that they did not have prior to the incident. So very ability that they did not have. Damn. Okay. God, is my voice really that annoying, Carol? Okay, I'm going to drop you because
that was something different.
Yeah, I'm getting mad feedback. Okay, so again, very, very similar stats, right? So people who have had near-death experiences, 71.25% of the time, they have a psychic ability that they didn't have prior. ET contact, 71.50% of the time. Those are shockingly similar stats. So yes, I believe that being exposed to higher vibrational frequency unlocks that dormant DNA. While we wait for Unknown to get his audio under control, anybody else on the panel want to weigh in on this?
I actually had an out-of-body experience. I wouldn't say it was near unaliving because I'm not sure, but I know for sure I came out of the vessel, and I'm going to make it quick, but it was like I woke up and I was still myself. And when I realized I was myself, because I felt it was the best feeling ever, the best feeling I've ever felt. And then I realized it was myself. And then as soon as I realized it's myself, something guided me. And the best way to give you a visual is taking us like a security camera. And I became a security camera. Someone was guiding me. They showed me a tree first, and then they showed me arm with movement and then I realized that's what it was. And then they showed me who it was. It was my children's father. And then when I acknowledged that, it zoomed up so I could see the whole scene. And I realized it was my body. It was me that he was doing those movements to, punching. And then when I realized and when I acknowledged that it was me, it zoomed in on my face. And I was unalived. And as soon as I realized that, I seen from the side, like if you look at peripheral vision, I seen from the side something like coming from, because I was already higher than the clouds. I was already very high, and something even higher than that came zooming down like warp speed and grabbed me and pushed me back into my body. And I did research, and they call that a walk-in. So if y'all want to look that up, so I had a walk-in, and I think that's when, and I think that's why when the ship came in front and had visited, it was whoever did the walk-in with me was the one who was speaking, and I was looking at the mirror image, and the mirror image was like 11D. It was like me, like you look at yourself, look at your arm, and that's how it is. But just imagine it looking mirrored. So these are really real experiences, and I think that it's honorable because it's to catch you, it's to get your attention. I believe. And it's also, I feel honored to be able to see how I was put back, how I arrived back into this vessel. Because most people, they don't get the opportunity to see how they arrive back in their vessel.
All right. Thanks so much for sharing, Michelle. Appreciate you. It sounds very similar to so many others. When she references walk-ins, guys, she's not talking soul traps. So questions on the side, I can already foresee it. Also, she's had contact with ETs, which is interesting because my data shows that about 65% of NDEs end up having ET contact. They end up having ET contact that they maybe did not have prior to their NDE. So Michelle, your story is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Unknown, not sure what's going on with you, my friend, but go ahead and try the panel again. Anybody else want to weigh in on the stats on why maybe people who have had NDEs, people who have had ET contact, come back with psychic abilities so many times? 71%, guys, 71%, big stat.
Hello? Hello.
Go for it, Z. Get a little bit closer to your mic, Z.
Yeah, it's a sensitivity thing. Sorry. Now it's better. Okay. I think it has to do with kind of like it's an unlock. What happens during that time and to the brain, whether it's just physiological or a mixture of something external psychically. I think it's the data, what you're reading. Allegedly, you can't deny that it's just so many reports, including anecdotally my own, just very different when I returned, and can't explain why other than that experience. It's not like a trauma thing. It's just things were different. Perception was different. Awareness was heightened with certain things. And yeah, I think it really does shift something in the brain. So that's it.
All right. Thanks so much, Z. All right. Anybody else before we hand it back to Unknown? Carol.
Yeah, I think honestly, okay, so I have never had a like a clinical death, right? But I have had instances where it was almost as if my soul left, right? Because the experience was so intense. So I would call that sort of maybe an OBE. I don't know how to describe it because it was like my life flashed before my eyes kind of thing. Okay, so I think that when that kind of stuff happens, it opens you up so much because, I mean, think about it. When you think you're about to leave this planet, things start to change. Your whole entire view on life starts to change. And I think it does unlock some things for us. So I do, from what your experiences with the interviewees that you've had, I do think that there's some of this comes from having the ET contact because again, the central nervous system gets opened up. I think they unlock some DNA potentially in us, right? That was sort of dormant to us, but just the experience itself, if it's coming from just that, I think it's just an intense experience.
Sorry, Carol. I'm going to have you repeat your last two sentences, if you would.
Okay, yeah, that was really weird. I started hearing myself. No, I think that for people who have had the extrasensory abilities come just from the experience itself, possibly could just be the fact that it was that intense and it opens up some dormant nature within us because just based on the experience. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought the same. I had a sneaking suspicion, Carol. So I started doing some research and I found out that the CIA agrees with you. Lots and lots of money has been put into studying that specific phenomenon. So yeah, I agree. Gypsy, you're up.
Yeah, I agree with what she's saying. I think that there's like a coding done or an unlocking of information into our consciousness. It's almost like an upgrade. When it happened with me, like you come back so heightened with sensitivity, like you're knowing your ability to feel everything was different. It felt different. I think that just coming, like I told you in my NDE, it wasn't just, there there weren't just ancestral, like humans, there are beings there. So within that situation, I think that's exactly what happens. I think that it's such a intense thing to go through, that while we're in that space, in that like a constructed, I don't even know how to explain it, but in the white space, in the white place, I think that's when it takes place. Within when you're together, I think that you're almost uploaded, you know, and when you come back, that's why everything is enhanced and your abilities and your senses are heightened. It's a jolting to your being. And I remember, like, the part that I didn't like was when I fell back into my body, because that was not graceful. That was not gentle. That was like reality, you're back, you know, but everything else that took place in that was just beautiful. It was just peace, love, a plethora of colors, and then it was like white, bright lights, and then you're within a group of people and beings, and you come back different. You're changed forever. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
All right. Thanks so much, Gypsy. Appreciate you. For anybody on the panel who has their Bluetooth on, I need you to go ahead and turn it off. There's too much feedback. There's 600 people in the room. We need to be able to hear everybody. So Gypsy, if you have Bluetooth on, I'm going to have you shut it off. Anybody else on the panel as well. I'm going to hand it over to Z for a question, because Unknown has checked out of the building involuntarily due to his Wi-Fi. You're up, Z, not to put you on the spot in front of about 500 people.
That's fine. I'm used to it at this point. So I have a question. We'll move away from the topic, if that's okay, of NDEs, because.
Yep, let's do it.
What is something that most people assume is true regarding ETs, but it's not agreed upon? What is something that people don't agree upon? There's a house that believes this is absolutely true. This is absolutely not. I'm just curious if we can think of any. One of the ones that I can think of is came up earlier, like the space racism, which we don't need to talk about. And another example would be all aliens are from the future.
Oh, I thought you were going to go the other route. Okay, so the question is, what is something that lots of people believe to be true that's not about ETs, or that's potentially not?
What's the split? Like, some people absolutely believe it's true. Other people believe it's absolutely not. That's why I mentioned ultra-terrestrials. It's like not all of us agree that like every race of aliens is us from the future or something. Like, there's that belief that people have.
Yeah, I want to weigh in on this one first, just because we've been through that. So many people. The biggest one that I can think of off the top of my head is those who believe that all aliens are demons. And then those who are like, yeah, zoom out, upgrade your lens. Which of the billions of species are you speaking of? That's my answer. Go for it, panel.
Okay, so I have to agree with you. That was actually going to be my first thing that I was going to say, but I think also that they're here for a nefarious purpose, that they have to be here for some controlling reason, possibly to snatch people's their souls, maybe. I don't know. I think it's very split down the middle for that part.
Agree. Who else?
Re-ask the question. I worded it better. I was like, wait, hold on. What is a belief that causes division amongst ET and UAP believers? Like, there's two different sides, two different houses. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, one side thinks they're here to elevate our consciousness and to bring some kind of peace to this world and unity. And the other side thinks that they're here to be self-serving and cause harm. And I think that in certain situations, people think that just across the board. I don't even think they take the time to look into the different species. I think it's just like a blanket statement that they think in their head, instead of looking at the fact that, you know, if we are connected to everything and there's one creator, that they're actually a part of us and we are a part of them, and probably they're our ancestors or vice versa.
Can you all hear me? I'm speaking from like my microphone.
Yeah, I can hear you. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, because I had Bluetooth, so I might have done that because I have wireless. But anyway, I think one thing, I mean, there's many things. I think many things. Anyway, I think one thing that pops in my head is that people think that, you know, aliens just have one sort of look, like, you know, your picture, Wendy the Greys. We come in all different shapes and sizes, just like humans. There's certain looks for different species too, and then also it's also what they feel comfortable with when you're up in the bigger ones, not a ground crew one like me, that they can kind of shape their appearance. So that's just my nickel in the discussion. So
All right, I'll take it. Who else? If you're on the panel, please have an opinion. What's something that causes... Yeah, go ahead, Asher.
Hey, what's up? Hopefully it doesn't drop me. I guess isolation invites negativity, right? I'm trying to get the question, right? Like, what allows a demon or angel to make it simple, like without getting mad, like the energy to these beings? Is that what we're getting at? I'm sorry, I'm a little lost.
No.
Z, ask again.
Nope. It's a simple question. It's what is a belief that causes division amongst ET and UAP believers?
Damn. I don't know. Come back to me. I'm not sure. Like, give me a minute.
Okay, repeat one more time.
So it's also down in the chat, but I will repeat it, no problem. What is a belief that causes division amongst ET and UAP believers?
Okay, so an ET is extraterrestrial, correct?
Yes.
And UAP is the spacecraft, correct? That you're talking about?
Right, aerial phenomenon, yes.
Okay, so phenomenon, are you speaking on the aircraft, or are you talking about an experience as well, a phenomenon?
A belief that
I believe,
causes division.
I think that that's a good question. I think that what will cause division is the different species have different agendas, and so there may be, you might see one you might see something, and there may be somebody say something that this is their agenda, but then there's other there's other crafts and there's other ET extraterrestrials that don't have the same agenda, so it can cause a rift. That's the best answer I can come up with.
All right, thank you so much, Michelle. So Z's question is essentially, what's something within the UAP phenomenon that people cannot agree on? It causes divide. Aliens or demons is one, or that UAPs in the sky are sometimes man-made, or that sometimes abductions can also be by the private sector, or that psionics is being used to pull in UAPs to reverse engineer them. There's a few examples. Does that help the panel? Anybody else want to weigh in?
Oh yeah, that does help.
No, you're good, Michelle. Thanks so much. I'm going to have somebody else weigh in. Astro, did you want to throw in?
Okay, so I guess like the science, the ones who connect and integrate with consistency use cosmology. That's the best answer I could give.
Yeah, absolutely. I am with Lauren down below. There's so much hierarchy involved in this phenomenon as well. It's like, y'all really like opportunity much? Yeah. I agree with you down below, Truth Hound. The hierarchy in this phenomenon is ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right, who else wants to weigh in?
And that's what I meant to because that was a connection, right? The universe humbles man's down. You know, so that's where you see the great ones like Bledsoe and Stephen Greer utilize the astronomy cosmology to not be in a hierarchy, right? Because that's what it actually does. It humbles us down to a line. So there you go.
Yeah, if you're all ego all the time and claiming to be this, that, and the other thing, that tells me exactly where you're at. I am with you guys on the hierarchy. All right, who else?
I just want to add, I'm shocked that nobody mentioned this one. This isn't easy belief, it's disbelief. Like, oh, it's not real. None of it exists. There's people out there that are still just like, you know, that's a good example too, just to share.
Yeah, that's getting better though, actually, Z, because when we first started about a year ago, people would come in the room and be like, yeah, put on your tinfoil hats, take your meds, y'all are crazy, go get a job, things like that. And now instead, they just simply come in and say, all aliens are demons. So at least they're talking about it. At least they're starting to believe that ETs are a thing. Yeah, absolutely. All right, anybody else? What's causing divide in the UAP phenomenon?
Politics.
Yes. Okay, Pop Dog, what you got?
Movies, science fiction. I don't think that's. I think people need to get their heads around that it's science fiction. Fiction, guys, fiction, not faction. Yeah, I don't think that's helped the cause. But I think Disclosure Day is going to open a lot of minds as well.
I agree. I think the timing of Disclosure Day was not by coincidence. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Anybody else before we move on to Unknown's question? Once, twice. All right. Unknown, you're up, my friend.
Okay, so the next question I have is, so the Pleiadians, the Nordics, are said to look very much like humans do. So why is that? Do they share the same, like, do we have, do we like share the same DNA?
Yes and no. They're okay. Sorry, trying to gather my thoughts. I have to bring it up one day. There is a picture of little Gideon with my strawberry blonde hair when I was born. It's just when we come into this world, it's just like any one. Like I said, we come in different shapes and sizes, and our things change. So there are humans. It's not just the Pleiadians, which I don't really think are Nordic in my view, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm still awakening to myself, so I'm doing a lot of research. But there are humans that are hybrids, and then there are other as well. It's not just Pleiadians. There's other ETs that have mixed with DNA stuff because, you know, for example, the Anunnaki were the engineers of the universe on Earth, so there's DNA manipulation. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
There's also a mistake with the Pleiadians and the Nordics where people think that they're like white skin. They say light eyes and light hair. The skin's indigenous. It's not black nor white. Did you guys hear about that? I'm just saying, right? This whole racism thing. I'll leave it at that.
Yes, Astro. Yes. Anybody else?
Yes. I'm just gonna say it. Because the modern image of them was created by humans. That's all I'm gonna say. Bye.
All right, Unknown, I'm going to have you ask your question to the panel again. Astro, I'm handing it over to you. I need to step away for 5. Thanks so much.
Got you. All right, Unknown.
Yeah, so the question is, why do Pleiadians look so much like humans? Are we genetically related?
Anybody on the panel? I mean, there is a part where they also come from Venus. There's a Venus project that's out there too. If you guys read upon it. Anybody?
I don't know that they do. I mean, we have to consider the fact of who's putting it out there as well. You know, and have they had contact with them? Or is this something to make us feel more comfortable about certain species? You know, I have heard the Nordics could walk among us. You know, I heard that. And I've heard the Pleiadians have human-like features, but don't specifically look human. I don't know. I mean, this is information we're getting from the human species, so we have to consider that as well, right? So, I mean, I have not shook hands with a Nordic or a Pleiadian that I know of. So I think we just have to consider the source.
Let's bring some science. How about that?
Let's do it.
Okay. Does anybody know where the Pleiades constellation is? This is like real stuff. We can look up in the sky, astronomy. Anybody?
I'm
all right.
I'm aware, Astro, but obviously I'm not educated on the stars.
I know. I'm just a nerd. You know, I'm that. I don't know much about anything else. I'm just bringing this up because I want to connect to science. So because the belief that you all have is so accurate, I just want to bring something to observe, right? Because there's truth to that. So the Pleiades constellation is in the between 29 degrees of Taurus and 0 degree Gemini in the sky. They call it the Seven Sisters, right? So, and the reason there's so much awareness to this now is because I've been talking about Uranus entering the Gemini constellation, right? That's like the movement of this planet entering the Pleiadian. So whenever that happens, there's an awareness, there's contact. All the stuff we've been speaking about in the 1940s. Pretty interesting, right? Because it is something that, you know, it's a fact, it's in the stars, right? And so there's a connection there. We can speak about that. Anybody? Or I know you want to change the question. Go ahead.
Are you guys still there? It seems like it all went quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I just didn't have anything to say on it. So I was going to ask if you maybe had any more questions. If not,
I do have other questions I can go to if no one has any other opinions on that.
Well, I mean, I gave my opinion on that. So it's interesting to know because Gypsy was asking, how do we know? But there are connections. Remember that we all have the stars, right? Not only the people who are born in Gemini are Pleiadians. We all have Gemini somewhere. So it's like making the connection that we come from the stars. We are stardust. That's a science, right? So there's a connection to these beings through the stories that we hear that we exist from. So, I mean, I'll give that. So you have a question, Gypsy? Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, all right. So you're saying that it comes from Taurus and Gemini, you said?
It's the constellations. Every single being,
right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so and when what happens? You said the contact when the star system comes together.
Every 80 years. Every 80 years, right? Remember how we go back to the 1940s?
Yeah.
In the 1850s? Yeah, that energy. Whenever it enters the Pleiades constellation.
So I mean, maybe this comes from people who have had contact.
Maybe, right? I mean, like,
absolutely.
I'm just speaking the math because that's all I know. Like, you know, I don't have like the contact that you all have. I mean, I believe in it because the astrology has shown me so much facts about it, right? And it's fucking fascinating because it connects all of us in a different way.
Yeah, the quantum entanglement part is really interesting because we're connected to everything, right? But I think everybody, so I have like this longing for weightlessness. I've had it since I was a kid. I'm a stargazer since I was a kid. And it never felt like this was my home. But I love the earth. I'm definitely a fungi frolicking rock hound. Like I do love the earth, but I also long for weightlessness, and I have an obsession with the Orion constellation, specifically the second star on the sword. Can you tell me what about that, Astro?
Well, I can tell you something interesting too. So, for example, you're a Gemini moon,
Yes.
right? Okay, there's your Pleiades.
Okay.
No, but I'm making it simple, right? Because we all have it. So we all have it in their Venus, right? So we're not going to go too deep into that, but we all got it somewhere, right? So when we start to understand that every single character in Scripture and Bible, right? The archangels, everything, right? Even the Sumerian tablets and all that, they represent a part of the sky, right? Like when we talk about Venus, for example, Venus has many representations and deities, right? You guys want to hear what they are? You know, pretty cool stuff as we wait for my friend Wendy, right? Or unknown for the next question. Lucifer, Freya, Krishna, Aphrodite represent that. When we speak of Saturn, we can think of Kronos, Satan, Enoch, Noah. Right? And then we have the four corners, right? The four pillars, the four horsemen, the four archangels. North, east, west, and south. The news. They come to give us the news of the world. Right? And so the reason that Bledsoe and so many others are talking about August, you know, everybody calls it Sirius, you know, 8-8 portal. That's Archangel Raphael. 29 degrees of Leo, it's Polaris. You see, it's like the science connects to a meaning through stories. Okay, there you go, Wendy. I was just bringing that.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. To the people down below that are asking about buzzwords, I have a really bad storm in the background, so I apologize. But go to the policies and procedures pages of TikTok. It'll tell you what those buzzwords are. In addition, on this panel, what we run into problems with is when you talk about government-funded projects by name, that's an issue. When you talk about body fluids that are red, depending on the context, that can be a problem. Don't talk about schmurder. Don't talk about certain types of illnesses that happened in 2020 or the remedy to that, and you should be good to go. Who is up for the next question? Unknown Z, where are we at? If for any reason this live gets shut down, it's getting to that point where we will not pull it back up again. I do have a storm in the background. I may lose Wi-Fi. In the event that it's shut down, we will be live again at 1 a.m. Central Standard Time tonight. Unknown Z, which one of you is up for the next question? Sorry, I ate frozen watermelon. My mouth is numb.
Do you have a question that you would like to ask first?
Sure, I can do that, yes. I'll ask everybody first. Do we want to stick on disclosure or ETs, technology? Which topic of those three? Somebody?
Well, I just have one other question about ETs that I can ask, and then any other questions that are going to be unrelated.
You should go first then.
Okay, so it's a pretty simple question. If the Galactic Federation were real and you were given the opportunity to join as a representative off planet, would you go?
Yes.
I mean, if it's safe and like I'm not gonna, you know, I know all parameters of how that works. I guess I could try, but at the same time, I'm like,
All right.
I would absolutely.
Can you repeat the question?
If the Galactic Federation is a thing and you were a part of it or something like that, and you had the opportunity to go to any other planet, which one would it be? I just want to throw in a side note. Hayam Ashad, who's a former Israeli military officer, so essentially what he is would be the equivalent to head of NASA in Israel, said that, yeah, not only is there a Galactic Federation, but the U.S. government has been working with the Galactic Federation for decades. So, all right, sorry, back to you, Unknown.
Space Force, huh?
Space Force, yes. And also somebody which would be the equivalent to an employee of NASA in Canada said the same thing. He turned whistleblower as well. Sorry, storm in the background. Handing it back to you guys.
That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, my mic was being weird there for a second. Yeah, I would definitely probably pick Neptune. I don't know why. I've always been super drawn to Neptune. But I think if I were to be a representative, I actually think there are lots of us who do this and we just aren't truly aware of it. I think that when we dream, we go to work. Or when we're in sleep time, we go to work, especially a lot of people who do not remember their dreams. That's just my opinion, obviously. But yeah, I would say yes. And I would hope that I could bring some of my family with me because I would probably miss them dearly if I couldn't. But yeah, definitely. And Neptune.
Yeah, I think I would go to Saturn. I know there's a lot of storms and I know all of that, but I think that if I was able to do that, it wouldn't make a difference. And I feel like Caro. I am attached to my family and my children, you know, obviously. So that would be difficult. But would I go if that was an opportunity that I had that would change things, that would make things better, to be a part of something so huge? Hell yeah. Who would I mean, how could I say no? I'd want to bring my kids too.
I've had connection with Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus and Pluto.
Oh, that's so much fun. I love these answers. You know?
Does it have to be a planet unknown? Because I think I want to go to Sirius B. Let's go to the water. Let's go to the water.
Well, I didn't really ask about the planets, but everyone was answering, so I was like, hey, that's cool. But I mean, yeah, it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere that you can think of. Just whatever answer you want to give is perfectly okay.
All right, good enough. He's flexible, y'all. All right, anybody else?
Yes. Why do you want to go to Sirius B?
To be in the water. Yeah, because I'm a mermaid princess, Astro.
Oh God, Wendy, listen. Why not go to Neptune? Because that's what the planets have a connection to these constellations, right? You know that Neptune represents our dreams. It's our mediumship, right? And it controls the media. And it's so crazy, right? Because Caro, you're talking about that, right? And it represents Christ consciousness. Constantine wrote on this, right? In like around, I think, 330 AD. Pretty cool stuff, you know? But okay, Sirius B. But Neptune is actually where dreams come from for those. Like me personally, I'm Neptunian allergic. So I want to go to Pluto. I mean, like that's like the egg. That's like the end, right? Pluto represents the phoenix, right? Mm-hmm. Where we die and where we're born. And Pluto is the only planet that women are able to transform in a physical way, because women are the only transformation through nature, through birth, that men can never have. Man can only transform through tragedy or accident. It's a fun fact, whatever.
Interesting. I'm still going to Sirius B. And no, I do not think that I'm a mermaid princess. A lot of times when we talk about spiritual hierarchy or people in the spiritual community who think that they're just a wee bit better or have a wee bit more awareness than others, they tend to call themselves Lyran mermaid or princesses. And so it's just a play on that. All right. Anybody else want to weigh in before we hand it over to Z for a question? I apologize for the sound in the background. There is a mad ass storm in Texas right now.
I just want to say that I'm glad that you brought the planets into it. Actually, it made the question more fun. So I'm glad with that. For me personally, I would go anywhere. If it's in space, I don't really care. I'd go anywhere. It just fascinates me. And then you were talking about the mermaid, the princess mermaid or whatever. It just reminded me. I wanted to remind everyone that I'm the princess of consciousness. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Thanks so much, Unknown. All right, Z, back to you for a question.
Alrighty. I'm going to ask this one, I think. If time travel becomes possible, what do you think the first rule humanity will break is going to be?
I think they'll alter. They'll probably find a way to where they can alter it to where they can become rich or something.
If time travel is possible, what rule do you think humanity will break?
It's so. I guess first it would be which line of thinking of time travel is true in this case? Like, is it something that if we go to the past, we affect our future, or do we split off into separate realities? I think that the answer to that would kind of affect that really, but I would think that just in general, just going back in time at all would be probably a rule breaker, just because of the butterfly effect, how much you could affect either your direct future or even these other timelines.
Yeah, that's my answer too. I think that the first rule they would break would be to change, to alter time and what was going to happen. They wouldn't let it happen naturally. They'd change it.
I think people would, especially if you've lost a loved one, their first initial gut reaction would to be try and intervene with that event, which can also, through movies. I'm sorry, but I'm getting all of my information from Final Destination. You can't prevent it, so I don't know. That's something I think a lot of people would try to intervene with that.
I was going to say something along those lines, right? I think the first thing that we would probably end up doing, or somebody might end up doing, is breaking the rule where you're not supposed to interfere with somebody's free will, simply for their own, selfish purposes. Like they would want that loved one to stick around, right? Or they would want maybe the relationship that they thought they should have had, right? And so they would change the timelines so that they could alter that person's free will. And I think that's a big, big no-no.
Yeah, that is a no.
It would depend. I think that this question is interesting because we didn't clarify whether or not we have collective awareness or not, or a higher level of a collective awareness. Because at this level of awareness, I would think that people would go back in time to either avoid a loved one's death or for monetary gain. And once we reach a certain level of awareness, neither one of those things are going to be relevant, because we're going to understand that existence unfolds in front of us exactly as it should, and that the real currency is us. So at this level of awareness within the collective, I would say that the first mistake would be trying to avoid someone's death or for monetary gain. Now, as the collective frequency rises, that would be an interesting answer as to why we might go back in time. That's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
I know why they will come back in time. They'll come back in time because they'll be able to see live in real action what happened and how it happened for themselves with the technology that is being created. They'll be able to, it'll be VR, but they can't intervene, they can't interfere or anything, but they can come in and they can see exactly. It's like they're walking into. So I'm sitting here on my bed and I'm talking to you. Someone that's in school or something, or a scientist or something, they can come in and are just like a museum or something can come in and see me talking on the phone. I can see that happening in the distant future. And then that way they cannot alter anything, but they can sit and they can observe.
I think one rule that would definitely be broken is someone going back in time to change major course in human events, according to what they think it should be. Like, for example, if someone thinks that the Library of Alexandria burning down, they would try to go back and stop Caesar or any other historical events. But, then it raises so many questions from doing that.
All right, guys. Anybody else? Good points. I agree. All right. No Name, are you with us, friend? Hi, No Name to the panel. How are you? We're on mute. No Name, you here? There we go.
There we go. Sorry about that. I'm doing really well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. What brought you to the panel today?
Just curious about what you guys are talking about.
Okay, we're talking about UAP disclosure. What would you like to share? What brought you up?
Well, I was just listening to the current topic about going back in time.
Okay, and what are your thoughts?
Well, like you guys said, I think it kind of depends on a lot of factors, but I think an interesting one to consider might be going back and seeing where violence first started and trying to change or try to encourage people to not use violence as a means of moving forward and division. You know what I mean? I think violence was a pretty important step in evolution that changed the course of everything for humanity, for even animals, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. All answers make sense. Thank you so much. All right, anybody else weighing in? Going once, twice. Z, where you at?
I'm still here.
Okay, do you have another one?
I thought about the money thing for myself on that, but I was just like, why though? I mean, it doesn't fix anything. Yeah, I have more questions if you want.
Yeah, go for it. If the panel is not tired. I will say this. I understand that those numbers in the top right-hand corner make it real appealing to come and pop a squad and try to increase your follower count. There are some responsibilities if you request a panel. We do expect you to contribute to the conversation. There are only 9 spots and 500 people in the room. So please don't come up unless you plan on contributing to the conversation. With that, Z, back to you.
Righty. So, let's see. I was going to ask about, have you ever known something before you knew how you knew it? And this is on the topic of psionics, psychic ability, ESP. Have you ever known something before you knew how you knew it?
I can answer this one. Yes, actually, many times. And a lot of the time, it's when loved ones are leaving this world.
Deja vu.
It's not a good feeling. It's actually a really bad feeling. But it's a knowing. It's an absolute knowing. A knowing so strong that when my father passed, I was 9 years old, and I tried to get out of my cousin's house umpteen times throughout the night to get up the path to my grandmother's house, to get to the source. I needed to hear it, and I felt it. I knew it. And then when my mother came to pick me up the next day, I ran the other direction. It was, and it hasn't only happened once. It's happened several times. I've actually called my mother up and asked her who passed, and she said, honey, I was just going to call you. Your Aunt Hazel passed. So this is something that's happened to me on several occasions, we'll say that. And that was not a good feeling, but it is what it is. So, yeah.
For me, if we're talking like deja vu sort of thing, I've had countless times of deja vu. But the biggest one for me, like I've had prophetic dreams as well. Donnie, can you mute please? You're having some there's some input coming in. Thank you.
Can you elaborate on prophetic dreams?
Yeah, so I've had a dream of when in the dream I went in to use the restroom, and I noted that it was different than where I was living, and it had like pink walls. It had a pull-up shade that was also the same color pink. It's like a darker pink. It had vanity lights, which I'd never lived in a place that had those lights. So I was like, hey, that's cool. And there were some other things too. And about a year and a half later, we moved into a new house that had all of it, except for it didn't have the pink walls. It had blinds instead of the pull-up shade. But over the course of living there, my parents actually painted the walls that same color pink. They switched it to a pull-up curtain. All of it just combined. And then that dream, it was actually a two-part prophetic dream, because in the dream, that pull-up shade pulled up really quick, and then there was this Chinese clown with a fan in front of his face that moved it away and hissed at me. And I actually found that same clown in a haunted house thing in San Francisco, where you go through this little haunted house thing, and then there was the same clown, and it had the hissing thing as part of the mechanism.
Yeah.
What about? Go ahead.
No, you go. No, you haven't been here that long.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to say, what about kind of insights and intuition, where you kind of know that you're supposed to do something, but you don't necessarily know why, and then you do it and it's kind of revealed to you. Do you think that's separate? Or are you talking about like seeing something specific and then it actually happening?
Is your question directed at me, the questioner?
I guess it would be towards Z.
I'll say this again. I ask my questions simply to inspire individual thought and feedback. It's not to get you or say that anyone's wrong or right. So it's about explaining an experience that you had, and you don't know how you knew what you knew before you do what it was. That's it.
Gotcha.
All right, anybody else? And if you are the questioner, you are responsible for the follow-up responses and talking in between, because host is having breakfast. So who is next? Go for it.
Yeah, I was thinking. Oh, okay, thanks. So actually, on the lines of what No Name just said, when I was a kid, my mom used to call me the little professor, because somehow I don't really know, and I have a really hard time talking about myself sometimes, so forgive me, but like I just knew things. I was always questioning my parents about stuff, asking them if they knew, and then giving them explanations on like stuff like how telephones and telephone lines work and things like that, right? So, and then I remember being 13 and actually it might have been 12 or 13, somewhere around there, and having a discussion about sickness and illness, and talking about the fact that if you can think, feel, and perceive, then it will be. I have no idea how I knew stuff like that. I really have no clue, and still to this day, it kind of boggles my mind. But what ended up happening, I was always called an old soul, and I had a very, very hard time relating with people of my own age. I always hung around like much older people because I could. Oh, Sorry,
Carol,
can you
you
hear
keep
me?
cutting out. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can hear you now, but it keeps cutting out.
I hope. Okay, maybe not. Can you guys hear me? I don't want to
Yes,
keep talking to myself.
I can hear you.
That's so weird. Let me go on airplane mode for 3 seconds, and I'll.
No problem. But just to let everybody know, like, again, no one's right or wrong, but I feel like that's a great example of, I didn't know how I knew, but
Okay.
here's
Well, I was just really
point.
about thoughts and perceptions. I've had experiences where I knew something, like something would happen, and it was somebody that I had been around or seen, and I would get guided to look at the TV, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's so so," but I didn't know that was it. It was just a feeling, like a just knowing. And then later on, I would be around the person that I met that person through, and found out that I was right, and I didn't know how I knew. And then there was an instance where I was in a relationship that was very not unhealthy for me. And I remember waking up out of my sleep, and on the side of my bed there was a man, but he was illuminated. And I woke up and I said, why does he keep doing this to me? And I had my keys in my hand because I was trying to hide my keys so he wouldn't take my vehicle. And I just had my hand up with the keys, and the keys were taken from me. And then it was telepathically said, be still. And I did not know. And 6 months later, I had an issue with my vehicle, and I did not know that they meant about my second vehicle that I was, because I had a little Honda, and then I ended up getting a Mercedes. I did not know they were talking about the Mercedes. I thought they were talking about the Honda because I got the Mercedes 6 months later. And during that time, I was not being still. And then it dawned on me, and I was like, oh, that's what they were talking about. They weren't talking about right then and there. It was like a message that was going to happen in the future. So now I know.
Michelle, we do have a 2-minute limit. I just want
Oh,
to,
okay.
you just land your plane if that's near the end. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, so it can happen both ways.
Okay, and it does. It came later to you. That's a great. Thank you for that share. It's a cool story. And also, Carl, we heard what you said. I think we got the majority, but Volanto had something to share, I believe. Next.
Yeah, thank you. Mine is more on the basis of sort of understanding people. I wouldn't say I knew the future, but I'll try and summarize it. So my best friend of 10 years was very integrated with my family life. Little did I know that he cheated on, with my ex. He lives in my old house with my child. Very difficult situation, but I kind of weighed up a lot of the things that I was going through personally at that time. So I've always had my hand outstretched to him with forgiveness. A lot of people think that's a difficult thing to do, but it's taken 4 years, and I always knew that he would come back as a friend. And the last 4 months, we've been talking, we play games together online, we have fun, we're I wouldn't say best friends, but we are generally good friends. And the whole path of that was for me to soul search after that. There are so many benefits to what happened, so rather than looking at negatives. So I guess I've always had a bit of an intuition with using love and kindness. I always feel like it does come back. You do reap the rewards if you keep yourself open to that.
The take a penny, leave a penny concept almost. I mean, not to lessen what you shared, but that's cool. Absolutely. Does anybody else have a share on intuition or knowing something that you didn't know how you knew what you knew when you knew it or didn't know? Anybody? And if you
Sure,
don't,
I can say one.
oh,
Go ahead.
I think it was
Oh,
Don.
yeah. Don, can go ahead if you or no name, sorry.
Sure. Yeah, I like to meditate just personally, and during some of the states of meditation, I saw things that were going to happen at some point. I didn't know they were going to happen, but they eventually did. Like I knew that at some point, friends that were very close to me were going to leave. I had a very clear insight that the job that I was in isn't the right place for me, and I need to leave. And the funny thing about that was I actually was resisting that a lot, and the position ended, so I was kind of forced to leave in a way. But yeah, it happened, which was kind of interesting.
Meditation is definitely one of those keys that a lot of people have. I believe Unknown, and thank you for sharing. Unknown, you were next.
Yeah, so I was originally going to share. Astro had asked me to expand on the prophetic dreams, so I kind of forgot it. But so in the early 2000s, there was a certain major U.S. event that happened. Not going to name which one, but you'll probably be able to infer on that. I actually was not allowed to watch TV before school when I was growing up. But on this certain day, I had this overwhelming feeling that I had to turn on the news because something major was happening. And I turned on the news, and it had just basically happened right then and there.
So that's the end. Sorry, I was like, wait, it just happened right then. How quickly was that though? The timeline.
Oh, the timeline was basically within 5 minutes of the first event happening, I was watching the news.
And
it was basically right as the news was coming up with it.
And how old were you?
I was probably about 16.
Cool. Does anyone think it's a yes or no? We don't have to go deep into it. Does anyone?
Hold on, Z. Can I throw out an interesting stat just based on what you guys are saying? So we know that precognitive or premonition dreams are the most common extrasensory ability that people come back with after a near-death experience. But one thing that I found incredibly interesting in all the people that I interviewed is that the longer that they were gone, the longer that their heart was stopped, the more their abilities got. Not in every case, but in enough where I was forced to take notice. So essentially, I have interviewed someone whose heart was stopped for like 26 minutes before she was resuscitated, and her abilities were like, wowza, through the roof. Not just premonition and precognitive dreams, but the clairvoyance and the clairsentience and everything that came on was absolutely amazing. And so we started running through data and found that the longer that the heart was stopped, the greater the abilities, the more enhanced the abilities when they came back. In addition, something that we found over and over again, just on this panel alone, outside of the interviews, is the more contact that people have with ETs, every single time that they have another contact, their extrasensory abilities are enhanced, which again supports what we were talking about earlier regarding every time we're exposed to higher vibrational frequencies, it gives us more abilities, which is just crazy cool. And I thought that some of you might find that interesting. So back to you, my friend.
Well, that is interesting. And it's in the way that, like, you know, the phenomenon that coincides with, like, the age. A lot of people around puberty to outside of it, they have heightened sensory abilities, which a lot of us have heard about too. But I didn't know about the consistent upgrades. That's really cool. And a little freaky. I wonder what they're doing with all those upgrades, you know? I do have a question, though, about perceptions of how ETs might view us. And it's, what do you think surprises ETs the most about humans? What do you think makes them go, Say our empathy. That's my answer.
Yeah. Love, right? I mean,
I would say our lack of control. Sorry, there's like a weird delay. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I just lost it. Oh,
No,
lack
she
of
said our
self-control.
lack of control. Damn, is it my delay or hers?
I would say,
Yeah,
I would
hold on,
say
Gypsy.
that-
Hold on, Gypsy. So Carol is saying our utter lack of control, and I would agree with that. Or our unique ability to weaponize emojis. What the hell is up, y'all? Down below. What the fuck? All right, Gypsy, you're up.
I would say how far we are willing to go for one another. So yeah, we go in line with empathy and love, and just so like putting the risks to self aside to help somebody that we loved. You know, just the willingness to leap. You know, so how we would react if put in certain situations without thinking of what could happen to self with people that we loved.
Anybody else? Thank you. That was great. What do you think surprises them?
I would say TikTok dances when you could just slap me. No, for real though. I mean, we can talk about like why we have this whole space racism rhetoric, or that they're demons. Like I would, if I was an alien, I would be like, huh? Why?
You know what's interesting, right? That I haven't heard anybody say that how, well, there's a line for the experience of man from these entities too, right? Like, you know, there's a part of where we left the constellation of the cosmic mother to experience this, right? That's why there's a part of abandonment that we always look up and like, where are we from? But we chose to come here to experience the senses that make us who we are. Right? That right there. Have you ever seen the Earth, the day the Earth stood still? If you watch that, they were supposed to come here, but they loved Earth so much they stayed here and integrated. Something they cannot feel where they're from. Yeah, it's all love and light, but there's no feeling.
How do you find out where you come from?
Hold on one second, Michelle. We can, hold on, Astro. Yeah, let's stay on the same topic first, and then we'll move on. Z, I'm going to have you answer or ask the question one more time, please.
What do you think surprises ETs the most about humans?
About humans, okay.
One thing I would share is the.
Oh, sorry, but No Name was next, and then Gideon, you should go because I saw No Name unmute several times.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to jump in on anybody. I guess I would make the assumption that if ETs were coming, that they would probably be of higher consciousness than us, maybe. That's just an assumption. But based on that, if they came here, I think they would really be surprised by how individualistic we are and how the focus is on just the self and the improvement and like enhancement of the self to get more money, get more status, get more things, get more greed at the expense of other people. And not seeing that we're kind of all together and we're all in it together and not that we're not working together. Thanks.
Thank you. Gideon, go ahead.
I would say the unfortunate capacity of mankind to want to harm your own or our own kind, because if you look at the archaeological evidence of a sword, it doesn't really serve any practical purpose on survival stuff, and it's still a great mystery why it's been, around for so long. So that's my take on it. I mean, there's a lot of other things, but that's what stands out in my mind.
I think sometimes, someone just said it in the chat. We're so spontaneous as a species. We're so unpredictable at times in our behaviors. I often, with this question, think, is it possible that they're like, I don't know, man, are you guys okay? Like, are you going to be chill this time? You know?
Don't you think they have a general understanding of us, though, the majority of species Z, with their elevated level of awareness? But if they were going to be surprised at something, I have a few thoughts. I think that they might be surprised at our lack of ability to have loyalty to our own species, our lack of ability to have unconditional love or unity. I think they'd be surprised that we have no knee-jerk reaction to protect each other collectively, right? Like how we're more loyal to borders or the color of our skin than to each other as humans, right? How money comes first and human life tends to come second. How shiny objects matter more than dying children. How easily mob mentality turns us into cavemen. But I do think that they understand we're primitive and that as our collective awareness rises, this all changes. And that's why we're here. Because when you go inward, and you get rid of those blockages, right? And you align with your authentic self, you start to raise your own frequency. And when you do that, it spreads to your parents, to your brothers, to your sisters, to your children, to your spouse, to your coworkers, to your neighbors. And then their collective frequency rises, and that spreads to the next person. And one person turns into two, two into 10, 10 into 100. And before you know it, you've changed the entire goddamn world. So anybody who's ever said one person cannot change the world, prove me wrong, prove them wrong, right? Because I believe that you can. Sorry for the speech. Z, back to you.
Oh, wait. I need to pick you up. Can I say one more thing, Wendy? Oh my God, yes. How about forgiveness? They don't understand. I mean, that part, right? Of when someone's done something and you are as a human, and their mentality of awareness of high level, they're like, why would they? But see, that right there changes the world. I love what you said, Wendy.
It's the be the change message, definitely. And I don't think it's preachy. I think it's taking ownership of what this room is about. And I love that you said that. So I do have other questions. I just also want to check in, wellness check, make sure you're drinking water, you're getting up, you're moving around. You know, if you were on the panel, please have an opinion. Please be respectful of other people up here. Thank you for everybody coming in here. Okay, my next question is, I need to reword it. Hold on. It's like, how do you trust any messages from non-human intelligence as of today?
Reword it, Z.
How do you trust a message from non-human intelligence or ETs? Non-human intelligence is the same to me, sorry.
I mean, personally, I think I would trust a message from an ET more than I do most humans. That's just my opinion.
Is it okay for me to chime in? I didn't mean to cut somebody off. So from
Let's have No Name and then Gypsy, and then I think Caro I saw on mute, just to stay in order.
Okay. Yeah, so in my experience, as I kind of grew deeper in my connection with just different aspects of consciousness and kind of cleared out my own junk, my sense of intuition started to become more clear. And I started to learn how to trust that when something was trying to let me know something, it was a feeling that I would get. And it was just a feeling that I would get in my stomach that was very different than anything else. And over time, I kind of learned discernment from that feeling versus other ones. And when I would trust that feeling and go act upon it, things most of the time, the majority of the time, would end up working in some favorable way. Not in a predictable way necessarily, but in some way that things worked out okay. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, No Name. So it sounds like some discernment and a knowing. I believe Gypsy was next, and then, like I said, Caro.
Yeah, absolutely. That my answer is very similar. Is that knowing, that feeling of knowing. Right in your diaphragm, your solar plexus. That it's just so telling. It's so telling, and I think that if we were with a higher consciousness, excuse me. I think if we were with a higher consciousness, ours would be elevated as well, because we do vibrate off one another and we do share a vibration. I think it's like 8 to 12 feet. We are connected, and sharing a vibration aside from quantum entanglement. So I think we would share that vibration, and between that heightened awareness and consciousness and our own knowing and discernment, I think it would just be telling. Plus, they are light years ahead of us. And, if there was deception there, I think that I would hope that I would feel that. But I don't see why they would come to me to give me lies. I feel more like they come to us to give us truth. And mostly it's about, conservatory reasons of the earth and protection reasons. So yeah, I think I would go with it. I would believe it. And I think if it was something wrong, I would know it.
Yeah, I agree with that for the most part. I think discernment is definitely key here. However, I think there will absolutely be, for a lot of people, especially those that aren't really into this topic or not really aware of kind of how things work in general, I think they would be so flabbergasted and fascinated by the being. Some of them might even look towards them as gods, and that they are supreme beings and or have a higher level of intelligence. So I think it would be pretty hard for a person of that nature to discern. I think that, we become blinded by ideas as well. So something sounds too good to be true. Often it is. But in the moment, it's really, really hard to discern that. So for me personally, I would like to think that I have a more discerning outtake. And I think that, I would know in my soul when I'm being manipulated. But I guess I couldn't really say. I don't actually know because I've never been in that situation.
Understood. And then, I mean, that's an honest answer. If you don't know, you don't know. That's an answer. Wendy, is there any updates or anything you need next, or do we have time for one more?
We can do one more. Yep. I have concerns about losing Wi-Fi as there is a mad storm in the background. So go for it, Z. One more question, my friend.
Right. Astro, did you want to share anything? I don't have my own answer, but if you do, or Michelle, or Belanto.
Oh, well, I just wrote in the comments, to make it simple, because my Wi-Fi is also a little off. So, I mean, I always get confirmation from the heavens, right? Because sometimes, I wrote in the comments, intuition is clear, but it's not accurate. In the movie Disclosure, they were talking about that it's always within two that brings awareness to a third, the Trinity, right? It's never to the self. And I'll just leave it at that. So.
Thank you so much. And thanks, Wendy, for letting me ask questions. Thank you, everybody, for your honest answers. I'm going to give it back to Wendy.
All right. Thank you so much, Z. Caro, if you can slip it in fast, I'm here for it. Go for it, my friend.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a full discussion. It could be a simple yes or no, because this is new to me. Birds. Hearing that they're, first of all, not even real, and they might actually be aliens. And some of this actually stems from the fact that I started watching that movie yesterday.
Yeah, if you watch Disclosure Day, it definitely makes you look at birds a little bit differently, particularly cardinals. All right. Anybody want to weigh in?
Well, Hermes Trismegistus represents, a bird, the messenger of the gods. Right, so there is that, and that connect. And it's interesting because it was four animals, right? It was a cardinal, it was a raccoon, it was a fox, and I believe a deer, right?
Yes. And interestingly enough, the resounding theme that we hear on the panel regarding animals and their connection to ETs is owls and deer. So interesting. All right, who else wants to weigh in on the birds?
I don't know. I will be honest. I don't know.
I just want to say really quick that I've been talking to owls for years. Like literally almost every night I go out and talk to the owls in my backwoods. It is something I've been doing for years. And one of the most life-changing moments I ever had was with a huge buck, the biggest buck I've ever seen. I was driving down the road. I had this thought in my head. It was snowing, so there was snow on the ground, that I should slow down. So I said, I should slow down. What if a deer jumped out? Because I live in woods. So I slowed down. Sure enough, this big, huge buck comes walking, strutting even, across the road, stops, looks in, I swear that being, it looked into my soul. And I was just like frozen in time, like just staring at this deer, and this huge buck was just staring at me. I turned my lights down and we're just looking at each other. And I don't know how long it was, but then it looks away, it looks back at me again, and it continues to just walk across the street into the woods. I didn't even move my car for probably 5 minutes because it was such a strange interaction. I do not feel like that was a deer. I feel like it was something much greater, much, much greater. And it affected me in a way that I was shook. Shook, not scared, shook, just shook, like what the hell just happened. So I didn't see this yet. So it's very interesting that you brought up those two things, Wendy.
All right, thanks so much, Gypsy. Appreciate you. Anybody else on birds? Once, going twice. And Christine, I know that you have a special connection to birds, my friend. I've seen the evidence. It's absolutely amazing. All right, guys, I never market my own page, ever. But I want you to go check out my videos. I'm new at this. I want to know what y'all think. I'm not a videographer, so don't judge, but go check it out. It took us a year, but we now have videos on the page. I want to know if you're enjoying the content. If you don't, it's okay. Reach out to me and let me know what you want to see. With that, thank you to the current panelists who stuck around for hours and hours tonight. You're brilliant. You never cease to amaze me. And I personally get so much value out of these lives. So thank you so much for being you. To the 533 people who chose, even if temporarily, not to pass the room tonight. Thank you. Thank you. I did nothing to deserve you, and yet you tend to come back night after night after night, and you make my life complete. You fill my cup. Thank you. We will be live again tonight at 1 a.m. Central Standard Time. We are going to talk a little bit about Disclosure Day. So if you're concerned about spoilers or don't want to know anything about the movie, wait about 15 minutes before coming in tonight. We'll also be talking about conscious awareness, potentially NDEs, maybe out-of-body experience, and probably a plethora of other things. So if you have questions for the host or for the panelists, reach out to me today. I promise to get those checked before tonight. So until then, y'all know the drill. Be kind to yourselves today. Give yourselves grace. Help raise the frequency of the collective, and we'll see you all next time. So much love. Bye-bye. Thanks, panel.
Thank you.
What do you, I'm confused on what you're asking me.
It ain't no confusion to this. If you own a business and you say you give out 1099s, then which one do you receive so the IRS can have a copy of it?
Oh, I get what you're saying. So like my Stripe, my PayPal.
Your PayPal what?
The form that I get from them at the end of the year saying how much money I brought in.
You still get a tax form.
Yeah,
so which one do you receive?
I was looking in the chat and I seen somebody said independent contractor, and I'm like, no, I'm not a
Well, you said that you give out 1099. So, but you say you are self-employed. Can y'all get rid of that noise in your background?
Sorry, I'm at the gym, so the noise might be coming from
okay.
A little
All
bit.
right. So what type of tax form are you giving to the IRS when you file your taxes? Since you are self-employed, you own a business. So which one you provide to the IRS?
I do. I get a 1090. Well, I guess it is a 1099. But I got
It
an
is a
accountant to do all of
self-employed,
this.
you
Okay.
get a 1099. So if you self-employed, what would the Schedule Z do? Because she said she owned a
Yeah,
business.
the schedule. Yeah, you do need a Schedule C. I got all of that because I got to put all my.
It depends. You don't need a Schedule C or Z, but you do. If you are self-employed, you do get a 1099.
I do have a Schedule C though. I run a photography studio.
No, you ain't gonna piggyback off me because I said it.
Okay, but the thing is, when you
LLC.
earn income from TikTok, they consider that self-employed, and I get 1099s.
So I'm new to TikTok. I just started making money on TikTok this year. So I haven't got anything from TikTok or social media. That's not how I make my money. I make my money from dealing with real companies.
I get one from employer too, because I don't own my own business. I wouldn't do that, never, because that means I would have to pay myself.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, I don't want to ever work to pay myself. That's kind to me. That's kind of like, especially you ain't had no real business. You ain't really doing shit. Because you gotta get your health, medical benefits and all that stuff too. So that, But since y'all talk about,
and then when you file your taxes, they want to.
I just need to know how much you earning. What should appear on your 1099? Because y'all talk about what men supposed to be doing, and y'all should freely give this information out when.
No, the way it came up, the way it
I didn't
came
ask
up
how it come
is,
up. No, I want to know. It's too late for that. Cause I want to talk about salaries now. Since y'all brought up salaries, let y'all talk about y'all salaries.
Put mine in the chat.
Yeah, y'all talk about salaries. Since y'all brought them up. I don't know what's going on.
We was piggybacking off of what she had last said.
Yeah, but I don't talk about salaries though.
We was talking about how the broke man is, and then that's how the salaries came up because Infinite want to run his mouth and always want to go in circles and don't.
And someone Y_Jen Schedule C is a tax form, not an earnings statement. So, but
depend on me.
Yeah, it's 1099. So, but you guys should be
over there running your mouth.
Actually,
no. But the thing is, no, I don't want y'all to back out of it since the moderators didn't redirect, and I woke up, y'all talk about salaries. So we going to talk about salaries, and this is going to be a prime example why we don't do it. But I need y'all to talk the way y'all was talking. How much a man should make? Let's go.
Yeah, Infinite was saying about how, and then that's
Somebody got noise in the background. Somebody got noise in the background. We
how,
got noise in the background.
I was
That guy next to Tyra. Can you mute up, please? Don't unmute.
Okay.
Tyra, not Tyra. I said the guy next to Tyra, not you. Because I heard you talk about 50K. You ain't getting out of this one. Yeah. So go ahead. So let's talk about these salaries. Now y'all was talking about how much this man's supposed to make or what he could make. Let's talk about put yourself out there.
I was trying to. Anybody want to go first, or you want me to go first?
It's only you two ladies are the ones who talk about salaries.
We were not talking about salaries. I don't know what part you came in on. I
came in on Tyra talk about $50,000. And when I said who brought up salaries, 3D said you did.
Well, I didn't. That was a misspoke on his part. I didn't bring up no salaries. I laid down specifically and clearly why I think men should not be dating. And it had nothing to do with a number, a salary.
So only you, Tyra? You was the only one talking about salaries?
Can I speak?
And a guy that ain't on here no more. The guy that I replaced, TCG. I heard him talking about it when I got on.
I don't know who TCG is.
Yeah, he's on.
That was the one that kept talking, and that put you to sleep in the first doggone place. So basically,
Keisha said it was Tyra. All right, so why did you bring up a salary?
Everybody's talking at once. I can't hear. What?
Why you bring up a salary?
That's what I was trying to explain. We were sitting there when I was asking, how did it go? Okay, so Chanel, she's at the gym. Everybody was piggybacking off of each other. So basically,
everybody was piggybacking, and the moderator's not redirecting. I like that y'all don't redirect. Okay, so that was nice that y'all do things behind my back when y'all know what y'all not supposed to do. But go ahead, since y'all had the conversation.
I'm not gonna lie, Nate. 3D been redirecting the whole night.
Well, I don't
Can't
know
even
how
front.
he redirected and no one's not listening, because if it was me, I'd just drop your ass if you don't listen. If I redirect and y'all keep talking, I drop you. So I don't know why there was no redirecting, because if I redirect and you still want to talk about, I drop you because you're not listening. I don't keep you on the panel. That's how redirecting happens. If I redirect you and you still want to talk about the prompt and I gave you the warning to get back on, that's not part of the conversation and you still do it, I drop you. I don't keep you in the panel. So that's not redirecting if they still stay in the panel.
All right,
So again, no, I need you to know. We want to talk about salaries. Let's talk about the salary. Let's talk about it since the moderator never redirect. So $50,000. How much do you make? Do you make over 50K?
What question? Who are you directing to?
You.
Well, we still talk about the salaries that y'all all piggyback on. Right, let's go. Like, you see all this hesitation now talk about salaries. Now, when you would give an idea how much this man should make, I'm flipping it on y'all. How much y'all make? Because we want to talk about the salaries.
That's what I'm asking.
What's up,
somebody said you. I'm trying to figure out who are you directing that question to.
Whoever, all y'all who piggyback off of TCG, whoever the fuck that is. All y'all who piggyback on, let's talk about y'all salaries. We're gonna talk about y'all salaries. Let's talk about y'all salaries.
I understand that, but who said you? I'm trying to figure out what the hell.
Hello. You, I heard you talk about 50,000. So I want you and everybody else in the panel. You and everybody else who was piggybacking off of TCG. Let's talk about y'all salaries.
I did not even know his behind was in here because he has.
I don't know who y'all was talking about. I'm talking about right now. Since y'all talked about salaries, let's talk about y'all salaries. What's the problem?
Okay, so how about this? We were talking about salaries because of how these broke man is, and Infinite kept running his doggone mouth, and I was like, okay, so how broke can a person can be? And that's
so let's talk about salaries. Let's talk about it.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. So how much do you make?
I already put it in the chat. I said I make over 100K per year, and it fluctuates.
What is over 100K?
Excuse me.
What is over 100K? Y'all can't make these even numbers. Like the salaries are never even numbers.
Because of the way the business is, it fluctuates every year.
You own a business too, so how much do your 1099 produce?
It's in the chat. When I was sitting there eating when I had my mouth full.
Like that when the IRS asked for it. Y'all, whether y'all own these businesses, no, it has to come off of a 1099. So how much does it show in your 1099?
That's why I say it fluctuates. I mean, we already in
it can't fluctuate.
In July. Yes, it does.
I'm going to show you someone that was my moderator who basically, this is why I don't know why all y'all want to own a business.
2022. And then 2023, 2024.
Hold on, I don't know why y'all all want to own businesses on TikTok, and then y'all want to tell people y'all own businesses. And y'all, anybody who runs a business, you need to produce a tax return.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was asking the person. That's why I was
where's
asking
your 1099s at?
That's why I was asking the person. I was like, okay, so what do you exempt?
But if you own a business, y'all should be proud of y'all black-owned businesses. So how much your black-owned business earning? So y'all don't talk about how much, and then we need to know how much you are paying yourself after you run this business.
Oh, baby, listen, I already got my thing running, okay?
But how much do you make?
I was like, if you have a bank account.
Okay, this is what I want to show y'all. Like, this is why y'all not telling the truth, right? All right, so this is my my moderator, right? Hold on, pause. Y'all both are not telling the truth. Both of y'all not telling the truth. All right, so this is you and the other lady. So pause for a moment. I'm about to show you something. Okay, So one of my former moderators is a
In
trucker.
the bathroom.
You don't need to see. You just listen. Everybody else is going to see something. So this is one of my former moderators as a trucker, and on the side hustle, he did Uber and Lyft. Uber and Lyft. I think it's Uber. Okay, let me show you when you do Uber because it's self-employed, right? So let me get my pen open up. Okay, so this is my former moderator. He wanted to show it to me how much he earned hustling. So this way he showed me his tenant. See, people who really produce shit, they don't got no reason why I hide. All right, so I'm gonna bring the phone close. I'm talking right now. You can't talk. You can't talk because I won't come back and ask you those questions again. All right, so this is his 1099 doing Uber. 1099, because if you do Uber or Lyft or DoorDash, it's self-employed. So when you earn money, you see how much he earned. This is his 1099 from Uber. January, February, March. You see he almost made 10K off of Uber. April, May, June, he didn't really did much as a side hustle. But when you are self-employed, they give you a 1099. So what does it says how much you earn for your business? Y'all like to talk about how much a man make? Y'all should be sharing how much y'all make. And since y'all both own businesses, where's your 1099s? Self-employed. Y'all say self-employed. 1099s. Where's your 1099s? Because if you want to buy a house, you need to produce one. You need one to show the bank that you can afford to pay the mortgage to buy a house.
No, that.
I got a couple of TikTokers that actually bought houses, don't work for no corporation. They bought houses. They are homeowners just doing TikTok, being Glide Pro battlers. So they need to produce their 1099s. So where's y'all since y'all self-employed?
We was talking about the 401k and stuff like that. I remember that.
Yeah, 401k. You have to, I don't know if you.
They was like,
I think your business, you also have to register it. You have to have an EIN number, which is the employment.
That's the only way you can get a 1099.
And you can't just pay yourself.
That has to be on the tax return. Just say so. We're not talking about that. Let's talk about since they already self-employed, they need to produce a 1099 because that will be on the 1099. Why are we stuck on this conversation? Like when it comes to asking for your salaries and 1099s, how much y'all earn from your business? Because I want to know how much y'all earn. Then I want to know how much you had to put back into your self-employed business, and how much did you pay yourself? I got several questions to ask.
same time, I'm my own person. I already said what I had to say. I ain't, you know what I'm saying?
You said 6 figures. You said 100,000. That's an even number. It's never even. It's never.
After that, you know what I'm saying? I already know what I got.
Is your DMs open? I mean,
there's never even numbers when it comes to salaries.
Talking about the 401k, and I was sitting there saying something about that because of the Series 6 and Series 9 license something that I got.
Nick, how can I message you?
You can't DM me because I can't receive no DMs. I got.
Damn, I'm looking. I was trying to look through my phone. I don't have my taxes on me. I have an accountant that do all of that, but I got screenshots from my back office of how I collect my money. Like I said, I run a photography studio. You'll be able to see my name and all of that on there. You'll be able to see how much I made since January. You'll be able to see how much I made last month.
Yeah, it will be on the 1099. It'll be on the 1099. And how much you pay yourself?
We were talking about these broke men.
Yeah, we talk about broke men, but we don't talk about salaries.
That's what we were talking about.
Well, that's why I'm asking what your salaries are.
When you had got up, when you had got up.
Yeah, that's why
because
I'm
of the
asking about your
moderators.
salaries. I'm giving prime examples of why salaries. One, y'all not comfortable telling your salaries.
I
And
already
look
told
where we
mine.
stuck at. Nobody ain't
But
telling
at the same
salaries.
time, I ain't got nothing to sit there and prove. I already know what the hell
Y'all
I
talk
got because
about
we were
what a
talking about
man
some broke.
should
We were talking about some
earn.
broke behind men, and then Infinite
Well,
wanted to sit
then
there and
why
run
y'all
his
talk about
mouth.
salaries and how much a man should earn? So how much do you earn?
That's what you woke up to.
No, okay, you're not
But that,
listening.
and then Richie was sitting there going off.
I'm no, don't
yelling. I'm
bring Richie
surprised he
up
didn't
right
wake up with
now.
that.
The thing is, I said we're gonna bring up these salaries since y'all brought up salaries and how much a man should earn. Then how much do you make?
What did they say? TC came in. What the heck?
I don't care about the TC. I don't care about none of that.
I'm reading the comments.
I don't care about none of that.
I
don't care about none of that.
Don't be bringing
What I
Richie up
talked
trying to get
about-
out that water. Don't bring
What I,
Richie out that
Oh,
water.
I ain't bringing up nothing.
first of all, for the record, I ain't in the water because I didn't bring up nobody's salary. I'm not uncomfortable
Somebody
talking about
said
my
I am
salary,
broke.
but
If y'all talk about what a
what
man
I-
should make,
what I said is when I joined the panel, what I said
how many kids
is
y'all got?
I got 5 kids.
I add kids in here too.
The souls.
5 kids. And how many kids
I
you
have-
got, Tyra?
My broke brother. I'm reading the comments. It's so funny.
You know how many kids
I
you
just
got?
came out the bathroom. Huh?
Y'all need to include
One
your
and
kids
only.
in. Y'all
One
need to
and
include
only.
your kids in your salary too. Yeah, y'all, because I look at guys being broke depending on how many kids they got. So y'all need to include that too.
I'm about to say sorry, not real. Okay, I won't be real. I'm gonna go do AI right now. I won't be real. Not crazy at all.
Yeah, if y'all lie about not claiming all your kids, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, even with broke guys, I include children. So the more children you have, it can make you broke as hell too. So give your salary